Hey everybody, this is Kyle. This is your fellow target individual Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is 5:30 p.m. on March 22nd, 2021. I have some really important information. Let me wait for some people to get in the chat. I guess I should have shaved. I'm looking pretty scraggly. If you're in chat, welcome, and I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're making it through this. A lot of big things are happening, and I have a very kind of important idea that a lot of TIs have already done in some states, but I think it would be good because we're trying to cut off the heads of the Hydra right up top. You know, with the UN's help, maybe they'll help us, and then the big Senate investigation. But then there's a thing we can do locally that we can undercut them, I think. And a lot of people in Florida, a lot of targeted individuals in Florida did just that. We're going to talk about that. Really, Joshua? I'm sorry. Yeah, remote neural manipulation can make you feel suicidal. You know, I say it all the time. Just what helps me put myself in another perspective is my faith, knowing that humanity is divine. You know, to try and help people and stuff like that. Get your mind on solutions. Be more solution oriented. Even through the remote neural manipulation, they're giving you negative thoughts and stuff. Try and like just be thinking of positive things that can make you feel better, right? And you know, I have to rely on things like kratom and lorazepam and things like that. And what's up, Steven? Steven Luther says, what's up? Eternity Eternal says, hi Kyle, good to see you streaming. It's good to see you, man, and it's good to see you, Ann. Steven says, do you see there's a live shooter in Colorado just now? It seems like there's tons of violence every day. It seems like there's a fire hose of just like violence and shooting, crimes and riots and what are they called? Autonomous zones being created around you know, around tribes. There's always some kind of like tribal war going on in every community. And then we've got the eternal war, right? Well, I mean, the war against targeted individuals, which are going on in every community. That's asymmetrical warfare using high-powered directed energy weapons. You remember that Star Wars? Was it the second Star Wars? It was Star Wars episode. A geriatric. Is he on stairs? I mean, I don't like. He's an older guy, but the point is, he's our president, and he's incompetent. You know, and that's bad because the military-industrial complex just tells him everything to do. And hey, Nicholas. Hey, artist. Oh, what's going on right now, huh? Yeah, Ann Crawley says, yes, humanity is divine. Every human you meet, you don't know their destiny, you know. That's why I try and I don't really think my attackers are ever listening or anything, but you know, they're complete just murderers. I try and kind of tell them that human life is divine. It's going to come back on them. Yeah, Nicholas says one of the goals of targeting is to get one to commit suicide. Don't let them win. Do not let them win because we're so close. We're so close to changes, even if it's just new defenses that can completely drive a lot of the pain. We're close to things, so please don't give up. Anybody, please don't give up. Every targeted individual that I've talked to that is still alive, do not give up. You're precious, and we're getting closer. We're getting closer to many, many angles of change for us. So please don't give up. And then I'm thinking, when I'm feeling like really mentally negative because of the remote neural manipulation, which is a lot because they suppress my brain. They've been remote neural manipulating me for so long that it's like, you know, very strong. I drank some wine the other night. I don't drink a lot, but I drank some wine the other night, and like I drank about two cups or two glasses of wine, and I felt completely different. Like I wasn't drunk, but it hit my brain, and it like the remote. I realized at that point, and I've realized it a long time. The remote neural manipulation is so bad that I just feel like a different person. You know, I feel like a different And the bad thing about that is not that it happens, because if it was for a week, it's like, oh, I remember who I was, right? But it's just they suppress your brain and do things with remote neural manipulation, and then it drags on for decades, so you even forget who you were. I mean, I'm not going to do that. Like, my core is still there, but you know what I mean. Like, your personality and it messes you up. It just messes you up, and we're fighting and we're healing. You know. Hey, Jennifer. So Joshua says, we are precious, bro. God loves you so, so much. It's not funny how much he loves you. Yeah, he loves all you guys. Hey, TIP. Hey, Evelyn. Yes, Evelyn. Yes. Evelyn asks, how do you like the hat? Is it helping? I recommend these. I would recommend getting two. I wear them when I do videos. Usually when I'm not wearing videos, I'm wearing the less EMF headgear. And that, I'll tell you, let me tell you guys this. I miss wearing Dave Case's CD some nights. I'll just pass out in my bed, and I don't have my grounding on, and I don't put Dave Case. I have the noise canceling hearing aids in. I'll wake up in the morning with just the fibromyalgia throughout my whole body. My head is just ringing and stinging, right? But then the next night, not last night, but the night before, put the lead cap on, the less EMF headgear, Dave Case CD, the grounding. I woke up, it was 10 times better. 10 times better. You know, I sometimes like, because sometimes I won't listen to Dave Case CD, and then I can't even function sometimes, and I'm like, you guys that aren't listening to Dave Case CD, I don't know how you're getting through this. Like, because I feel that kind of pain when I'm not doing the stuff, and I can't even function, you know. Artist says, Kyle, how is your grandma? I hope she's okay. She is. She's still kicking. She has old age, you know, and she's in hospice, but my grandma's so tough that it's gonna take a long time. And it's like she probiotics. Guess who recommended those, right? The doctors are doing all this stuff, and it didn't help. So she's out of the stomach pain, but she's like 90 years old, and it's like it feels like her time, you know, and she feels like it's her time, and she can't get up to go to the bathroom, you know. So it's like I'm just trying to be there for her and the family as much as I can, which is hard with the targeting. I don't think she's gonna like heal up and start walking again and just be okay. It's not one of those things, but she's hanging in there. You know, she's hanging in there, but her body's just getting old, and it's kind of like it seems like it's her time. You know, how long that's going to take? I hope it takes. I hope the end of her life is a long one like this, so we can spend time with her. You know, but if she's in, you know, as long as we can get her out of pain, that's my main thing. It's like sometimes like my aunt, my mom have so much stuff to do. You know, they're just listening to the nurses. And my grandma's still in a lot of pain, and so I kind of, you know, since I don't have to deal with the nurse or whatever, and I'm just kind of there to help, that was my thing, is like, we got to get her out of pain. She doesn't want to take pain medication. She hates pain medication. She'll take a half of a hydrocodone sometimes. She doesn't want to be hooked up to anything because it just makes her so tired, and she just won't do it. Like, my grandma just won't do it. So we had to find something. We had to get creative and find those probiotics. I'm glad I could do that, you know. All right, guys, I got important stuff. I got a bunch of stuff that Jeff sent me, and what we're going to do, me and Jeff are targeted very hard. I wanted him to come on, but like Saturday, he was ready to go. He was like, let's do a live stream, but I was like, I had to hang out at my aunt's, and I was like, had so many migraines. I was like, no, let's do it tomorrow, right? And then the day before, I was ready to go, and he was like, dude, I'm like throwing up, right? So we're trying to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the important articles and information he sent me about these TLP reports. It's like a TLP release by DHS fusion centers. And then there's an article that's very important from Florida about a sheriff getting sued for predictive policing, right? Which they're making it out like that sheriff in Florida was the person who is just doing this solely in that one spot, but he's working for DHS fusion centers. So there's some very important information. There's something we need to think about too, but we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. Nicholas Hamlin says they are underpowered but work Amazon. Yeah, the Amazon Schumann resonance pulsars. They're about $40. They need improvement, which is what I'm building. I built one that worked quite well, about 30%. Yeah, these are really good. These Schumann resonators. They do work because it makes your body focus on that positive frequency instead of the negative frequency. But it's not like you can't get one Schumann resonator and your targeting is going to end, right? It's a stackable. The Schumann resonators are something that I would call a stackable. These hats, a stackable. This thing, a stackable. Dave Case's CD, noise canceling hearing aids, a stackable, but they're way up high. You need to get Dave Case's CD and the noise canceling hearing aids. The grounding is way up high. It's a stackable. Then probably the shielding on the head, right? And then what else are we talking about? And then the Schumann resonators. I would buy Schumann resonators other than the Q-Wave Defenders because they're more powerful and they're less expensive. Hey, Zeta Rex. Well, yeah, Zeta Rex says force yourself to smile and be happy and positive. It's a synthetic frequency making you feel depressed. And what I find is really good is watching comedy movies or I need to make a video on this. It's something called mind memes that I made up. If your attackers are doing the V2K and everything and being really nasty and it's just all the time and it's really taking you down, right, with the remote neural manipulation negative feelings. I do this a lot with other things, and that episode of Saturday Night Live Jeopardy where it's like Daryl Hammond and Will Ferrell, and Daryl Hammond's playing Sean Connery, and Will Ferrell's playing the Alex Trebek, right? And the Sean Connery character is like, "Up yours, I did your mom, Alex Trebek." Like, I have that mind meme in my visual, and whenever I want to just completely make fun of hackers, I get these mind memes, and so you don't have to think of something different in response to them. Get your mind meme ready, and then mock them, and mock them, and mock them, and mock them, right? There's some other examples of those, but I don't know if you guys know that episode of Saturday Night Live, but it's funny. It makes me laugh. It mocks my attackers. Well, I'll get to that. I might do a separate video. I gotta get to it. If I didn't say hi, I'm sorry. Hey, Dark Winter says classical music while driving took my attention away from the synchronicities. Anything that can entrain your brain away from the attacks. And I'll tell you this, like I listen to CD every night from the computer, and then I'll play these positive affirmations, and I played these positive affirmations about the blood of Jesus Christ, like all these verses about the blood of Jesus Christ protecting us. Let me see if I can just pull it up real quick. And it worked. Less hypnotized when I woke up. And that's one thing we really have to focus on is getting unbrainwashed. We need to, what do they call it? It's not unbrainwashed. Hey, Pine Doc, haven't seen you in forever. It's not brainwashed, but it's like deprogrammed. We need to deprogram ourselves because that every night while we're sleeping, they're doing psychic driving every night. And that's like making the remote neural manipulation, the stuff that they're doing with the electromagnetic frequencies to mess with our feelings, to mess with this stuff like 10 times worse. The hypnosis that they're doing at night. So we've got to deprogram ourselves. It can cut down on a lot of this manipulation is doing, Yeah, Artists of Elian says clingers. Definitely. Klingons from Uranus. They're Klingons from Uranus. Look, I just want to show you all this real quick. I'm not even going to share the audio, but I just want to show the YouTube channel, and there are a lot of YouTube attackers are already. Are you okay, Pine Dog? Like, are you doing? Have you just kind of been just away from social media? I hope you're doing okay. Like, I hope you're getting through this. There's a lot of big stuff happening. Time to kind of push and A lot of new solutions are going to be coming out. But check this out, guys. So this is on YouTube. Power in the Blood of Jesus. So I listened to this the other night, and with all my defenses on and everything, and I woke up feeling like almost normal. Almost normal. And I didn't feel so, when I woke up, I didn't feel that darkness, I didn't feel that heaviness, I didn't that dread that I always wake up with. And they'll also give me that feel, with remote neural manipulation, they won't give me a sense of dread when I'm doing my live streams, but when I finish streams, they'll try and make me feel bad, like it was bad or something, and so it kind of helps with that. The probiotics really help. The probiotics, I can't remember if I took one. They make me forget if I take my probiotics because they don't want me to take those. Okay, cool. Yeah, Pine Doc. Yeah, and I wanna say this. Like, I'm sure you don't mind if I read that, Pine. It's important. So Pine Doc says, I'm doing better. I'm fighting. Lots of mental stress and crazy stuff happening. It's hard to understand. Yeah, it's both and physical. Most definitely. Most definitely. Everybody in here understands, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's like technological black magic, is what I'd call it. Yeah. But I'm glad you're getting through it, man. We're getting some big stuff. And Pine Doc says, I pray that you're all okay. We pray that you're okay, and I pray that everybody here is okay. And says physical here, cooked. Pine Doc knows this is weapons. She's just talking about it being like, it's like technological black magic. It's don't understand what's riding on those frequencies, because there's things beyond our sight, right? There is good and evil. There is very low resonance stuff on the scale of life that's in this universe, and there's stuff on very high resonance scale, and we got all this stuff kind of manipulating, maybe trying to help you, man. And then we got God above it all, so what was I doing? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. What do I... Is Arachno here? Hey, Arachno Nixon. Cheryl can get in here. I hope she just made another thing and can come, because what I think, I looked everywhere. I have to go back on live streams to delete, to take a mod off, or to get somebody back on. Okay, hey, Jeff might want to come on right now. Okay. It won't be difficult at all. Hold on 1 second, guys. If Jeff would come on, this would be great. I can send you the link. Email. Let's do that, guys. Maybe we're going to tough it out today. We're going to tough it out. Just a casual, just a casual thing, and we'll go through some information. Let's see. I need to do the invite thing, and then I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to send that to Jeff. Let's see. What's it? Oh, it's in your Google account, Kyle? What is? What's in my Google account? Uh-oh. I just opened a new window. Alright, guys. Y'all give me a second, and we're going to get Jeff on here. He's got important information. We'll get through that. I want to show you all the few short things he showed that he sent me. And I need somebody's help in how we disseminate these things, because they're not links. Some of them are things that they're PDFs and stuff, and I can't put those on the description of my videos. Email them. We can send them through text and everything, but we need to find a way to get them to every targeted individual. So if I can get somebody to help me with that. Where is... Okay, there he is, right there. And then let me open my tablet so while I'm doing stuff on the computer, I can read y'all's comments. Ooh, I'm at 3.49, 3,490 subscribers, guys. Let's get to 3,500. Okay, Brittany J says, do Acts 2:38 in order, and God will respond. I know because I did it. That's awesome. Let me get this to. Yeah, to Jeff right here. Just send it. Okay. And let me while Jeff's getting on here, I guess we'll do StreamYard the way where we can just see both. I kind of wanted to change it to what's that? What's this one? What's that one? What's that one? What's that one? What's that one? I think that I like this one. We'll try this one. Okay. We're trying a different setting, I think, where the person and the other person will not. I think that's what I just did. I think that's what I did. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna share my whole screen here. I'm gonna share my entire screen. And then I'm gonna go to this. Does this work? Is this working right now? I hope so. I hope you guys can see this. Okay. So check this out. This is okay. Wait till Jeff jumps on. Let me just show you while Jeff's getting on here. Short things is it has to do a lot with what he wants to tell his encounter with his city police. But look, this is TLP Group. This is from the DHS fusion centers, right? So limited disclosure, restricted to community only. Useful for participating organizations and broader peer and partner organizations only. Not suitable for public release. So this is when DHS Fusion Center sends out a notification to the sheriff's department or anybody that works for them. They put it on a TLP like green, or there's other levels of it. Of this only goes to the people in the know, right? This only goes to people who are participating in the community policing and everything like that. TLP white is like minimal or no foreseeable risk of misuse, suitable for public release. Let me clean my glass real quick. So then I want to show you all this, and these are hard. Like I don't know how to get them out to everybody because they're like PDFs. But basically that's kind of the criteria they go by for release, and then I want to show y'all what they did release. Show y'all what they released. Sheriff's Department. Yeah, Pine Doc says, repent and baptized. Be equipped with the full armor of God, breastplate of righteousness. Our righteousness is in God. Amen. Amen. Target Michigan says, finally I made a live stream. I have to leave my house because the stalkers won't let my live streams play. I'm glad you got here, Targeted Michigan. Yeah, I have a lot of problems. My attackers like somehow just broke my picture thing on Microsoft, so whenever somebody sends me something like this, I can't get it up on the screen just through my pictures. So they break certain things on my computer if they see that I'm doing a lot of stuff with it. And they're also doing brain experimentation that it's hard to even explain. Okay, guys, so check this out. I hope y'all can see the screen here. Let me see if I got I may need to let Jeff in. So give me a second. Is he waiting? There he is. He's waiting. Okay. Hey, Jeff.
What's up, brother?
Oh, I want to put it on this. All right. Just say something.
Hey,
Hey, are you not sure? Okay,
I have a little delay
there we
on
go.
my end, but
We'll do that right there. So Jeff, I was just showing real quick, like before you tell everybody your story, or just like you can talk about your targeting or whatever. But I just wanted to show everybody this TLP green thing from DHS Fusion Centers to the Sheriff's Department. Right? I just want to read this real quick. So, hearing the following keywords or phrases suggests you are likely dealing with a person who self-identifies as a doxer slash targeted individual. If you encounter such an individual and you feel threatened, call 911. So if you hear the word target, justice, TI, gang stalking, organized gang stalking, voice to skull technology, directed energy weapons, references to racketeering and corrupt organizations, the Geneva Convention, and human trafficking. If any flyers or packages containing a cease and desist letter are received by email, mail, and or in-person delivery, report the activity to your local security office, local law enforcement, and or the FBI. Suspicious emails can be reported to www.ic3.gov. So basically, like if a targeted individual sends a cease and desist letter to the Sheriff's Department or DHS Fusion Centers to stop harassing us, to stop like harassing us while we're being microwaved, then they send it on to security, right? Because it's a huge threat. Yeah.
so first thing. Well, I'm getting a real bad echo on my end.
Do you have turn my video?
Yeah,
Do you have my video going on YouTube?
No, I don't. I'll roll with it.
Is it really bothersome?
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
You got something on your computer going on that's echoing it probably. Do you have any other windows open?
No.
You just have this. You just have StreamYard open.
Yeah, that's it.
You just have StreamYard open. Maybe let me put my headphones in. Maybe that'll fix it. Maybe you're hearing me through the webcam. Let's see if this works. So how you doing, man? Targeting bad?
Yep. It's really bad. Yeah.
Did that fix the echo?
Let's see. Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Great job. Yeah,
good.
good.
Okay. Headphones on.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Obviously, I can't see the chat, but everyone who's there, hello. Haven't seen you guys in a while, but targeting's been pretty bad, actually really bad in the last few weeks, and I think that is due to what we are talking about right now. Actually, the last, kind of going back a little bit, the last live stream Kyle and I had was on November 15th of 2019, that long ago. Well, that following day, which was the Saturday, I decided to drive around on I did have an Ativan, which I was prescribed, and I had a couple beers, bad decision. Well, I decided to drive around. That was Saturday morning, the day after the live stream, and I was pulled over by 4 different agencies, 2 different districts, the Sheriff Department, the Gaston County Police, and the Gaston City Police. And they had guns drawn on me, coached me out of the car, laying face down on the pavement, handcuffed me, tell me I'm being arrested for a felony hit and run. They handcuffed me. I was so messed up, I couldn't stand up. They actually had to sit me down on the curb, handcuffed, and I could barely sit on a curb. I was so messed up. Mind you, they just pulled me over. I was driving, okay? 2 officers go to the car and they run my ID, my license. They come back, a couple minutes later, they stand me up and they take the handcuffs off. The rest of the guys, there's 9 police officers. So, obviously at least one of them knew I was probably not okay to drive because I couldn't stand up. Well, they
Yeah,
all
they're like
help me
trained
get
for
back.
that.
Yeah,
Even
of
if you're
course.
just wobbling.
Look, look. If I got pulled over and I had and I don't, I had red eyes because I got sprayed with a chemical, they would give me a sobriety test. See, that's what these guys do, right? Like if you get pulled over and you're tired, they'll take you in for a sobriety test, right? Let's be real. So 9 officers, they had guns pulled on me. They handcuffed, then they take the handcuffs off once whatever they see on the screen, which we don't know, but they helped me get back in the car and drive away. Imagine, like, so they endangered my life and everyone else's life on the road. So I'm actually suing for that body cam footage. Okay. So in North Carolina, you got to go.
Jeff, did you know in the PAX newsletter they just reported a targeted individual? She veered into oncoming traffic and got hit by a big 18-wheeler. Like it just happened.
I did not hear that. No.
That's the kind of danger that we're in. We're being microwaved and stuff, driving around, and you can get to a huge wreck.
But Kyle, imagine, and I had like when you have guns pulled on you and you throw your keys out of it, like legitimate coaching me out the entire time and handcuffing me and saying I'm being arrested for a felony, going from that to the only variable was what they saw, whatever on that screen, and they helped me get back in my car, driving away, endangering. I mean, right? So people even question if my story is legitimate, right? Because, and it will show if I get the body cam footage. Well, the problem is this. I got a call from the lawyer, the actual lawyer of the Gastonia City Police calls me on a Friday and says, we are not releasing that footage to you. And I asked why. And, she said, well, we don't have to give you, that answer. And the only way I can get some sort of an answer is to still go through it. And a judge would have to, hand down, probably, he wouldn't even have to do that. Honestly, he'd probably just have to say, it involves national security. We know how this goes, right? Whatever. Well, that was on a Friday, and about 10 hours after that, I started getting attacked, and it hasn't stopped. It has not. I mean, my attacks I went through 8 straight days and a total of 10 hours of sleep. Like I'm having trouble literally adding up days, times.
I lose track too. Like I lose track of what day it is, what time it is. I'll wake up late at night and I feel like it's early in the morning. It's really bad.
Like Kyle, I was literally 2 minutes. I was actually calling Kyle. We were getting on here. We decided to do this yesterday, and all of a sudden I'm vomiting. You know what I mean? It's that bad. It's literally not day to day anymore with my tireding. It's moment to moment, it seems.
Oh yeah, mine too. Yeah.
So but set that aside. With the police department, going off of this leaked document, my father and I decided we set up a meeting. So I actually contacted the chief, and I met with the chief and the captain and another person, 3 people. And fortunately, I was with my father, who is, the man. He's the man. I mean, he actually believes in targeted individuals. He does. This has been a 5-year period. He didn't for the first 3 years, but he has seen, so much in the last few that he does. So we go in there, and I go in there with that document and a couple other things. And I did not start with, I'm being hit with directed energy weapons, this, that. I, asked if they knew who I was, very casual. But it got pretty intense pretty quick because I started asking questions that seemed, they didn't have an answer. So it left them a little uncomfortable, right? Or they had an answer, they just couldn't share it. And the actual captain was writing down. She asked me why I thought I would be targeted, because I let her know, hey, I've been living in this town for a year and a half, and I've had, no run-ins except for this incident. I'm trying to get the body cam footage. So this isn't just a weekend and I'm coming in having community, my neighbors are harassing me, none of that, right? I didn't even get into that. But once I slid that document over to the chief and I said, have you seen this? And he slid it over to the rest of the two people, the captain and the other. And the captain's taking notes the entire time. And they both just had to look. I mean, it was kind of a ghost face, right? And they hand it back to him, and he looks at me and says, yes, I have seen this document. How do you have it? Straight up. That's with the chief of police. He said, how do you have it? And I said, well, it's a leaked document, and I'm actually missing one other document that I haven't been able to retrieve. My father has it somewhere. That gets into another part of it. If you run into a TI that self-identifies all that garbage, and if they dox you online or on YouTube, to call and to have them arrested for stalking. That's actually what this document says. Did you guys hear what I said?
So they're going to report us. Like if we report somebody else's information for gang stalking us, they're going to try and protect them and hurt us more, right?
So basically, the first one, it says if I made a YouTube channel and I used to go on my front porch every morning, making just short video. Well, if I'm recording my neighbor and I say, hey, that's John, whoever lives at blah blah blah. Well, they want, if I did that, they want actually go press charges that I'm stalking them for me to get arrested. That's what this document is telling you. Yeah. So I will share the next live stream. I will share that. So it gets more disturbing. It gets more disturbing. So with this document, he kept it, and I said, I want you, So we do know it is an actual document. This document is a leaked document from a fusion center in Houston, Texas, to the local and state officials, right? To the sheriff department. Now, here's the main problem that, kind of was a segue with the chief here. I said, if this was real, and there are people that self-identify as a targeted individual, and they could become dangerous, and people's life could be, threatened, and this is happening in communities, well, then every single person in every community should have this letter that we're looking at, right? Not just a certain individual. All right. It
so
should
this TLP white would be stuff that they send out that the whole community gets, but then this document right here is just sent to the gang stalkers and community policing and the sheriff's department. Is that kind of it?
That's correct. That this only goes out to your neighbors. If you are being actively gang stalked, your neighbors have this document, 100%. And they're, so it says if you go and you put, say, cease and assist letters, you tape it on their mailbox or you hand them a flyer to educate. They want these people to go hand that in, right, to possibly press charges on you for stalking them. This is full-blown entrapment. Okay.
Yeah. It's just punishing us for punishing us for punishing us for punishing us for punishing us.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm a little targeted. So I'm kind of going on. Am I making any sense? I mean, obviously people probably have questions.
But you want to see if anybody has questions in the chat. Yeah. I was thinking of this. I have this other one, Jeff. I have the Predictive Policing. If you wanted me to pull that up.
Absolutely.
I have part of it, and then I have some on my phone. The hard thing is we need to be able to get these to people, and I don't know how to put that just in my description on my YouTube video. But this is the thing that you sent me on Predictive Policing, and let me read right here. Hold on one second. I thought I had it pulled up on my phone.
How many people do we have in chat right now?
Oh, I can't see it right now. Let's see. 41. Great. It's the highest it's been in a while.
All I see is targeted in Michigan. Hey Jeff, thanks for being here. You're welcome. I've been trying to get on here for a while. Yeah, Kyle, get into this. This is interesting stuff.
Read it's okay. So a bill to be entitled an act relating to intelligence-led policing, creating a 943.688 FS, defining terms, requiring law enforcement agencies that use intelligence-led policing to establish policies and procedures, providing minimum requirements for such policies and procedures, providing requirements for law enforcement agencies that use intelligence-led policing, providing an effective date. And then this is the really important part, right? Targeted individual means an individual who has been identified by intelligent-led policing based on an established set of criteria to be more likely than other individuals to commit a future crime. A future crime, right? What really gets to me, Jeff, is later on they say in this bill, an act relating to community or predictive policing, they say something about our rights, how often a targeted individual has been visited, and the results of each of those visits. And then it says whether a targeted individual has been provided resources or additional assistance. So I haven't been provided any resources or additional assistance.
It actually says that it actually says we're told, and there's a process of us getting off the targeted individual list. It actually says that, yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to come up with this note stuff I had from the sheriff stuff.
Well, it says like
what were those words again? Remember, intelligence-led policing. What do you think that is? It's not police officers being intelligence. No, it's artificial intelligence-led policing, meaning it's a program, a software program that picks people up off of coordinates. Let's just say metadata, right? Metadata is it's facts. It's a group of facts that doesn't necessarily represent the truth. Now let me explain that. So, Kyle, let's say you and I, we want to go to a ball game. Well, we're not going to drive all the way downtown and deal with parking, right? So we're going to park 20 minutes away and take a bus in. Well, now when you park, you got to put, your instead of, the old school quarters and stuff, you put your license plate in there and, right? Just, to pay for if we parked on the street, like in a city or whatnot. So now it has that our car is documented on a corner or wherever it is parked because we, our license plate is attached to how we paid to park there. Well, we're 25 miles away down and during a ball game. Well, a crime happens on that corner. So the metadata shows that our coordinates, technically the fact of the coordinates were there, but it doesn't represent the truth that we were there had anything to do with the crime. And people say, oh, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Well, targeted individuals know that's not the truth, right? So this goes, this intelligence-led policing is encompassed. I'm going to use the word again. It's disturbing. And I told these officers that, right, that it's software programs that you guys are abiding to.
I actually think it's like that. They use metadata, but then there's like people in the community who are connected to these community policing programs, and they can just they can request that you be put into the program. Like, cause that's kind of the experience I had. I was next to this older guy, and it felt like he kind of put me in the program. So it didn't feel like it was maybe in some circumstances they use just metadata, and then some circumstances it's like some people around you,
So another example, like, so when I was in Boston, before I was, well, I don't know if I was targeted, not overtly, but I used to I worked at the airport, right? So I walked there, and this wasn't like, this was a mainly Colombian neighborhood, not a great, well, I used to stop at this, shop that had coffee and pastries because it was owned by a Colombian guy that hired cute Colombian girls, right? I liked the girls. So I went in there to grab a cup of coffee on the way to work. Well, every now and again, this guy, he's a young guy, he's into drugs. I mean, look, he didn't have to say it the way he presents, well, he'd walk me outside and we would be talking about the weather and talking about the Red Sox and talking about the airport, and, um, that's all I knew of. I didn't even know his last name. And let's say this software program picks me up as now an associate, because later on, overt stuff started to happen. And then I actually looked more into, and I went into the local police department there in East Boston, and they gave me 42 names, and they were all Colombian people I have never met in my entire life as associates. I actually pulled a record that it showed my associates 42 people that, right, and I believe it was because they saw me associating. That's it. But it's not a person. See what I'm saying? This is the problem. It's a program picking up who digitally you are speaking with, and that's all it cares about. It doesn't care about the actual truth. It only cares about the fact.
Jeff, do you think they're using, how Snowden talked about like Prism and all those, where it's like it surveils one person, then it surveils like 3 people off of them. So you think they're using those straight up surveillance programs, collecting metadata and then targeting individuals with the weapons and the gang stalking?
100%.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
100%. And going back into look, I did tell the chief and the captain that I believe that they are told the actual program, and they're just told that we believe it exists, but they actually know the program. You get what I'm saying? Like
that's so confusing, because it's like they're told that like these people believe in a program, so they're crazy, but then they're participating in the program to harass us and surveil us extra, so they know there's a program, but they're being told that we just imagine there's a program.
That's right, and that we've become potentially dangerous. So we need to be sensitized, and everywhere we go, we need to know that we're always being watched, so the community can protect a possible preventing a crime. All right. So again, if you read the words, intelligence-led policing, it's a software, it's an artificial program, and that's what this guy he didn't want to.
Jeff, actually, what I think that may mean, I think maybe you're half right, but intelligence-led policing, to my mind, it's like the police are connected to DHS fusion centers and then intelligence agencies. You see what I'm saying? So it's intelligence communities. It's the intelligence communities like feeding the police information that the police then work off of. It's basically like our intelligence agencies controlling law enforcement, but AI is involved. AI is involved. So I think it's
well, you're actually correct on that. Another thing, I did let they did tell me that they do work with the fusion centers, and I told them that I might have even said the fusion. Well, then you are working with domestic terrorists. I actually told the police officers that you are working for or with whatever the agreement is, but they are domestically terrorizing people, and you're looking at one right now. And do I look like a guy that is just, oh, poor me? No, I'm not, but I'm telling you it's happening. It's happening in your city, and it's a problem. And, they also admitted that they do participate and have a program of community-based agents with community policing. They admitted these things. So,
what did he say when you were like, and I'm one of them? Like, I'm one of the people that's being. What did he say to that, or did he just look? Like, I mean,
he looked. Well, he looked over at the captain who was writing all these things down, because she was trying to actually look. It was pretty interesting. She created a timeline of asking me what my past was, what my jobs were. Like, I haven't been innocent, none of us have. We've all done. Anyway, so I was very honest with her. I went over my criminal past, and she was actually trying to figure out why I would be targeted. So in a sense, she's almost believing, like, she's not
Yeah, she's like, let me find out what in your past could have put you in this program.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And they did tell me that there are federal programs happening that they know nothing about. All three of them
Wow.
said that. And it's happening in the city, that they don't have, it's above their pay grade. So never did they say ever that I was crazy or that I asked me if I, any medications. I've never had a history of, I have had a drug past, right? Which I think possibly helped put me in this program because I was very transient, lost track of friends, family, you know. But obviously, no one should be experiencing no matter what
Yeah,
they've
no
done in the
way.
past.
Especially just for like, I mean, nobody should ever experience this program at all. Like, oh, like I smoked weed or whatever. Like, and I know I didn't get targeted for that, but nobody deserves this. Like, nobody deserves this.
Nobody.
Do you want me to pull
I
up
mean,
that? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go ahead. You go ahead, brother.
No, look, I wish I actually wrote down the chronological order of events because the conversation, it was a two and a half hour, and
what can I
and
ask
I
you?
left
Maybe
them.
I can ask you some stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I could just because I really what I'm really interested in. You said like towards the end when we were talking that you did get into directed energy weapons.
I did.
What was their response to that? Like what did they say about that?
Well, so I went back on. I said, and obviously this is the reason why I bring my father in because I'm about to share, something that, seems to get maybe some people in a little bit of trouble by just simply telling the truth. So here it goes. I said, we do all know directed energy weapons exist and they are being used around the world. Okay, that's no one can deny that. Now, what people can deny is that this guy sitting across from you here is that I'm not being attacked with him. We can have that argument, but what I can tell you is, I mean, this is not a week or two. I've been attacked for over 5 years. This is happening, and I'm looking you dead in the face and telling so, and I went back on that document. I said we can go back on the document, and it's why would they specifically say to watch out for voice of the skull, these certain terms, right? Directed energy weapons. So they're already prefaced, right? They're already desensitized, the people involved, that we might say these things. So it actually doesn't affect them one little bit if you think about it, right?
I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just so, like, I mean, did you say anything like the UN is like investigating this or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
Those conversations say everything that when you're talking to a policeman. Like I'm always nervous when I'm talking to police or anybody, and I always just like I'll forget stuff that would have been really good to say. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm so nervous.
I mean, honestly, I was kind of like I am now, man. I'm just a little scrambled. I in the last few weeks I haven't really like spoke about all this, man. I've been rattled pretty good, and I think it has something to do with everything I've been doing specifically around my community, right? Like they're definitely not happy that I actually have court cases. I mean, I'm going in and suing for this body cam footage, and I found out the only reason that they can actually say no, I am owed that body cam footage. In other states, you don't even have to sue. North Carolina, you have to sue. Well, the only clause that they can stand behind is if whatever's on that video, that body cam, if that impedes an ongoing state or federal investigation. So either way, if I get the footage, I'll show exactly horrific stuff, right? I'll prove that it happened. And if I don't get the footage, that's still they are admitting fault. So I have them kind of pushed them into a corner a little bit. You know what I mean?
Because if they won't give it to you, the judge can't give you a reason, then it must be because of a national security ongoing investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
The end of this thing, the TLP green document, the one about like anybody using these words, at the end of it, it says this is disseminated from OP's information sharing and analysis unit. Direct any requests and questions to your FBI private sector coordinator. So they have FBI. This is InfraGard, FBI private sector coordinator, where they'll get businesses, right? The FBI coordinates businesses to do vehicular harassment against us and other things like that. So they direct people to contact the FBI about this, like sheriffs.
So when I say entrapment, you know, because I gave, so all right, so we'll stick with the police officers. This way, right here, right? Literally on the 2 feet, there's a wall right here. Well, that's a police officer that lives right there. Right there, okay? While I was mowing the grass, you know, actually before I went and spoke with the police, and he was out there, you know, gang stalking. This is a police officer. And I stopped him. And you know, I kind of made a bad joke or whatever you want to call it, because his next door neighbor had someone walk through her backyard and she shot him. This guy that was, one morning, he was just walking to the gas station. This lady flipped out and shot him and chased him into the gas station. So I made a comment. I said, "Hey, did you hear about your, you know, did you hear about your neighbor, you know, shooting someone in the backyard?" And he said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "Hey, man, you know, lesson it with that is you never know what's going to happen when you go around provoking people." And I looked at him. He knew what I meant, right? So then we finished mowing the grass, and I asked him again, you know, if I could, you know, chat with him. I was polite. And unfortunately, I didn't have the document. I would love to share with him to see if he, you know, he would, you know, deny it, of course.
Yeah.
But I asked him many of questions, and the only thing he went back on is that the police wouldn't be targeting me or anyone else because they do not have the funds. That's the only. So he had the. It was almost like he was already briefed on how to handle this. You know, obviously this is not funds coming from the local police. You know, and I explained, and I even explained to him. I said, "Hey, to give you an example, I'm with my father in the living room, the window's up, and I'm kind of getting a little upset over something. And my father, we can both see outside the window, which is directly in line with the neighborhood police officer's mailbox, right? Well, while my father's telling me to cool down or cool off, he walks out to the mailbox with a cooler. Right. And, you know, in hopes that I'll run out there and tackle him or flip out. What I mean, but I gave him that example, right?
Yeah.
I gave, you know, so I gave him exact examples on what he has specifically participated in, just to see his reaction.
What was his reaction?
Looking down at his feet every single time. Every single time.
That's why, like, I had my maintenance guy never talk to him about it because I know if I say anything, he'll just make me feel even crazier. He'll just be like, "I don't know what you're talking about," even though he's done it like every day. You know, it's something that nobody can talk about, and everybody's trapped in it, right? Like, I mean, I don't feel sorry for the gang stalkers doing what they do or the microwave torturers, but everybody's just kind of trapped in this death game, you know, this experimentation and torture. And you can't. It's like if you ask anybody about it, nobody's going to be just a normal person and be like, "Yeah, this is like really bad. Like, there's gang stalking." They're just going to like be like, "I don't know what you're talking about," because they're all so scared. They're also scared because the mafia might go after them. The mafia being, you know, our entire system is the mafia now.
Another interesting thing is I did ask him. I said, you know, you could at least be honest with this. Have you seen a noticeable pickup of traffic in the last year and a half that I moved in? And he looked at me and said, "Yes." I have. And I said, that's gang stalking. You know, so I try to give as many specific examples, like, well, I won't even get it. There's so many, you know, and I just let them know that that's, oh, well, so I asked him, obviously, he takes an oath as a police officer. I said, so hypothetically speaking, if a police officer on duty, off duty, retired, not retired, if they participate, again, hypothetically, I had to keep saying it, if they participate in a program where they are given instructions to perform minuscule, just that really tasks that don't even really matter. But if they are designed to covertly provoke an individual over a course of time to act out and to potentially do something they never would do, is that entrapment or is it not? That guy looked at me, the most awkward, he tried to walk away at that time.
It was his brain was probably trying to compute it, and just the wiring in his brain was crossing, because he's like, wow, this is entrapment, what we're doing, you know?
So I explained it extremely well, where, hey, let him know you are participating in high-tech entrapment. That's what this is. Like, I don't know what you're told.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Check this out. Okay, so predictive policing, right? Well, they got to make sure that they predicted it right. So they're microwaving us, gang stalking us, harassing us, so that maybe we'll act out. Then they go, oh, that predictive policing, we were surveilling that person, and we were right, they acted out. You see, so they're creating it so that their predictive policing can look like it's working. I mean, that's just one angle of it, you know?
Of course. Right. I mean, it's, you know, like I told you today, man, I mean, I don't get a break. It's truly, I'm going through a period of street theater, but in such an entrapment way. Like, I was talking to a TI guy, you know, I told you earlier, Kyle, but, you know, about him moving to Iowa and not having a job. And I was just concerned. I said, hey, how much of a hole do you think you're digging out there in Iowa? I literally walk out, the neighbor across the street is walking up and down the street, staring at me with a shovel. This guy is mentally challenged. He truly, like, imagine, this is, I've probably used the word disturbing 17, 18 times already, because this past, like, few weeks that the information it's getting more and more disturbing. Like, they want me to attack people, you know, because I haven't been discredited. I haven't had interactions with my neighbors. I haven't had the police call me. I had the interaction where the police were at fault, right? You know, now I went in and shared my things with the local police, so I'm kind of doing things in a right direction, if you will, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
You know, right? Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if I am or not.
Well, I wanted to talk about that because, like, okay, you're suing for the footage of whatever when they didn't arrest you, right? But I was also talking with you. You know, we got that article about the sheriff in Florida, how all those people in Florida are suing that sheriff, right? And he's saying that he's the one who's doing the intelligence-led policing. They're blaming it all on that sheriff, right?
That's right.
And they're suing him. And I was thinking that it would be a good idea. We're trying to hit the Hydra with help from the UN. Hopefully they'll help. And then, you know, all the stuff that's going to go on in Congress with the Cuban embassy attack. But maybe we should just be suing our sheriff's department if they have our name on file. If they have our name on file and then they're telling all these lies, I mean, we've got them. You know, we've got the sheriff's involvement in this.
Well, I agree. You know? We need to go local. Listen, I think this whole, I can't stand, and I mean this, can't stand when TIs are talking about Illuminati. Listen, that's just a distraction. This is government. This is corporations attacking us. This is, get it, you know, that's just to take you on a wild goose chase, right? Like this. Yeah. It does need to be attacked on a local level because that's what that's where we live, our community. I do want to stop and say, hey, Jennifer Burns, you know, she writes the tech is also being used on cops. I would love to, I may be thinking of something different. You know, I'm taking that as the technology was used on 9 police officers to pull guns on me and then let me drive away completely not sober. I don't believe that. I would, if you could clarify what you mean.
I
That
think some cops, they have that thing. Barry Trower talked about this thing that the cops would wear, and it would emit a frequency that would mess with their brains, you know. And there's been a couple of instances, but it's not like all cops are being affected by this technology. But I've heard of cases of it happening.
okay, okay.
But probably the ones higher up that know about these programs that are like going along with it and kind of directing all the other sheriffs to participate in them. You know, it's probably not used on them. You know, unless
Look,
it's to make
these.
them more
I'll
violent or
tell you
something.
this: the interaction, even that day with guns pulled on me, I will tell you, since I have been targeted, I have not had one negative police interaction. I've had many, but they
Hmm.
almost have this look where it's my hands are tied, but they know
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah.
Look, my sister who just walked in here, I wish she would even tell you the story. So her and I are driving. I'm waiting for her outside of a pain clinic. Okay. And again, I hate to say this, but you know, I shouldn't have been driving. Okay.
Hmm.
I made a lot of bad mistakes in my early targeting and stuff, right? A lot. I mean, I still do, but trying to cope. Anyway, so
Nah, yeah, that's understandable.
I'm just
Like
being
me too.
honest.
No,
It's
me
been
too,
a
man. I
tough, you know,
take kratom and like I'm like I take kratom and CBD stuff sometimes and like Neurontin, and I'm trying to just take one and then wait and not take them all at the same time. So I've had to do some really really
yeah.
bad stuff to
I
cope.
mean, right. I told you, I'm doing the Delta 8 and it's helping, but
Yeah,
that's it. That's all. I've been, sober for a while, and it's tough sometimes, man. Especially going. We all know. But getting back to what was
what
that
were we
saying?
talking? My memory's so bad. We'll be talking and I'll forget what we're talking about. So I know you're talking about crud. Are we talking about the cops? We were talking cops being
Oh, listen.
maybe getting
Okay, so
targeted by this, and then
listen to this. So this is a different incident. I'm back then waiting for my sister to get out of getting her blood work done or whatever. And there's a couple that pull in beside me, right next to me. The whole parking lot's obviously empty. We know how that goes. Well, they get out, and I'm having a conversation with my father 5 minutes before. He wants me to go and pick up a few things that I need to get, working on the car stuff, some oil. And
mhm.
so he gave me four items to pick up. Well, this guy gets out with his wife, smoking a cigarette, making sure he stands there. My windows are down, making sure he stands there to finish the cigarette, to reiterate to his wife the 4 items that when they leave, they need to go get. And those were the same items, right? that, you know,
Wow. Okay.
again,
Mhm.
so I yelled out things I shouldn't have, right? Like, you're lucky you're a fat old man, because it'd be the worst day of your life. I shouldn't have said it, right? But I was ready to go, man. Like,
It happens. I've
so,
done it too. Like I've yelled at gang stalkers
so
too.
yeah. I've done a little bit more. I mean, really. Anyway, I won't get into that. But
Yeah, the
so they
fit.
go in.
Yeah, be careful.
They go.
Be careful
They
with
go
it.
in. Yeah, they go inside. Well, my sister comes running out, saying, "There's 2 people that just called the police on you." So we take off, and I'm driving, which obviously I should have let her drive. Well, so it's not just a traffic stop. They get a call saying this car and this person, this license plate, they aggressively communicated threats. So this wasn't just, they knew
Mm.
what they had to find me. So they found me, and I guess I was going like 45 miles an hour and 60-mile-an-hour. I don't know, man. So I pulled off on that side of the road. An older guy gets out on the right side where my sister is. A younger guy, like young, like early 20s, gets out, roll down the windows. He asks what's going on with that. He got a call. I was communicating threats and this, that. And I brought up gang stalking immediately. You know, because I was kind of feuding a little bit. I was upset, and the old guy says, I mean, he had no idea. You can tell. The young guy, that guy didn't say anything. He sprinted, but he wanted no part of that conversation. He sprinted and got back in the car and stayed in the car the whole time. So the old guy says, well, let me just run your ID. I couldn't even figure out how to give him my ID. I was giving him my debit card because
they had to have known. I mean, they had to have known you weren't.
Listen, my sister, I was fumbling my words. My sister took my wallet and had to give him I could not hand him my driver's license. So he taps on the inside.
Did they?
Hold on, yeah, right. So hold on. So
they say like.
So hold on. So he taps on the inside of the car to my sister and says, just so you know, when I come back, I will be asking him to get out of the car. Guess what happens? They go run my ID. He comes back, hands me my ID, and says, "Have a good day." Lets me drive off. Same thing. Listen, this stuff does not happen in Hollywood movies, man. If a senator gets pulled over and he's drinking, they'll at least have somebody come pick him up. They don't let the senator drive off drunk. They let me drive off. No one's going to tell me I'm not on some sort of list where they want me. My idea is that I feel that I can get away with whatever, and then I escalate whatever I'm doing, and then they pull the rug out from under me. That's my guess, right? They don't want to just get me on a traffic stop or a DUI no, they want me to feel invincible, like I can. That day I get real upset and I just go out driving, raising hell, and do right. They want me to do the craziest possible thing, right? You know, that's just the guess, but it seems that doesn't happen in anyone's reality. Those two stories are 100% fact, 100%. I'm not exaggerating. There was actually another incident where I did rear end a guy, a construction worker guy, and he got out, and there was no problem with, but he was angry, trying to, be tough guy, and the cop shows up and he points at me and was like, "Can't you see this guy is, on drugs or whatever?" Now, you ready for this? This was 45 minutes before the second time I got pulled over on that Saturday, the same day. So when the second time happened, it actually showed that I just got pulled over 45 minutes. Do you see how much happened in less than 1 hour? And I dealt with 11 total police officers, and not one of them knew that I shouldn't have been driving.
They didn't even ask. Like, none of them were like, "Have you been drinking, sir? Are you okay to drive?" None of them even asked.
Look, they watched me. They listen. They set me on a curb because I could not stand up. They actually set me on a curb, telling me, because you cannot stand up. And then they uncuff me and stand me up, and they assist me getting back in my car to drive off.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
So this conversation with the three officers, they didn't believe it, because they obviously said, "Well, if I was there, you would have been immediately in jail," and I should have. Of course, I should have.
So did they say anything else about it, or they were just like, if we were, they didn't say like, "Oh, well, we're going to check into that." Well, that's very suspicious.
I said, regardless, if I get that body cam footage, I showed them the actual suing document, so I have a case file. I gave them a copy of it because I want them to actually go and look at the footage, even if I never get it.
Okay.
You see how I played that?
That's a good idea.
So they actually had the footage. I know the lawyer told me I'm not getting it, but what if one of those three is a somewhat good guy and actually looks at, and they will see 100% of what I'm saying is the truth. And that's going to be a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, let's get back into the question.
I think like all those people, even people, they would be like, "Well, I can't." Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
did
go ahead,
just
Joe.
for a
Go
sec.
ahead.
No. Go ahead. Yeah.
Go. Well, I was saying, like, my thing is, I think people who don't know about the program, if they saw any evidence of this, I'm just afraid that they'll just keep their mouth shut. They'll just be like, oh, well, I'm not going to say anything. So I think we have to, like, actually sue the sheriff's department. We actually have to force things, because I think all these people within the system are kind of just like, well, I don't want to say anything about that big, right? So it's like we're gonna have to like force it. Maybe they'll see it and they'll know, but it's like they won't say anything. Is the problem
Kyle, going back on the UN,
that I'm worried about?
that like I think if we focus, like you're saying, more on local, like I just drove down 7 minutes and was able to have a sit down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's much more effective than going on Twitter and
You
carrying
have to
all
do
this
both.
misdirection, like, and trying to figure out what Nils Melzer's doing. Like, I
You
think it's
have
a
to do
much more
both.
effective. Of course, right. What I'm saying is, for
We gotta
me,
hit high and we gotta go. Yeah. Okay,
but
go ahead, man. Go
but
ahead. I get what you're saying.
everybody's afraid to go to the police department. Why? Because we're being told that they will 5150 you, and I don't think
Yeah, I
that's the
don't want to
truth,
go
man.
like yeah,
But I don't think
yeah.
it's the truth. I think that is misinformation. That is fear mongering. I honestly believe that,
Do you
man.
think do you think it's changed? Do you think like maybe years ago you go into the police department, you do get a 5150, but now it's like because we have so much more evidence because you were talking about this in like in a very logical way that didn't happen. Maybe it's changed so that when targeted individuals go in now, if we say it the right way, then there won't be a risk of 5150. I
Okay.
think back
Or
years ago, I think
or
it was.
or I'm taking out a huge variable that I went with my father. They're not going to
That probably made a
it,
difference.
yeah, so I don't want to take that out of the equation. And he made his stance very clear that he has, even he's asking me one day, we're driving around, and who runs the gang stalking program? Well, I said, I don't know specific, but it's the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So about 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
later, we roll into a Chick-fil-A. On both sides of us, the license plate, Department of Homeland Security. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's just one example. My father could give you examples of that is not a coincidence, right? That, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, I don't want to get into that. I have so many of those because right now that my targeting is based on whatever it takes to attack me at night to the point I'm near incoherent, so I can just get out of bed and look somewhat decent, able enough to go outside to check the mail just in that time where they're running not just
Gang
street theater,
stalking
man, but
ops.
like entrapment protocols. I believe that, like, specific entrapment protocols. If people know what I'm saying,
Well, and
like,
if you've got you got the remote neural manipulation too that can inject this anger and stuff like this. And they put gang stalkers in front of you, and then using remote neural manipulation, they're amping up your anger and stuff like that, wanting you to do something like that.
so I'll mow the
It's
grass. I'll mow the grass, and maybe it's not, now it's fine, but in the summertime, I had to do something stupid, mow the grass when it's 97 degrees. Well, plausible deniability, that wasn't a good, idea on my part, because if I dropped over from heat exhaustion, paramedics come, that's their plausible deniability. But the fact is, I can feel them attacking my heart. I'm wearing a heart rate monitor. My heart rate is at 172.
mm-hmm.
Right. So they do a lot of that. They do a lot of the physical stuff due to kind of biologically how I am. I grew up playing hockey, rugby, fighting, things like that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the psychological is bad too. I get that. But the physical of somebody attacking me and I can't see them. And if they put that police officer in front of me and I can't see him, I'm more likely to want to attack somebody who I can't see. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they know us, and they know how we possibly might behave. So my targeting's taken a very dark, twisted turn, man, where, you know,
Did they to you and like try and get into fights with you?
does who?
Like, do your gang stalkers like come up to you and try and start fights with you? Is there an echo? Is there still an echo?
No,
Because
no,
somebody in
it's cutting out a little bit. Like every now and again, it's cutting out.
okay,
But
okay. I was just asking, like, do any of your gang stalkers like come up to you and like threaten you to your face and say stuff to you, or they do fall off stuff, kind of street theater kind of stuff? And
Kyle, I'm not trying to like at all sound boastful, but I'm not that guy that they're coming up. I promise you that. Like,
yeah,
I'm not.
mine stay far away from me too. The thing with me is if they ever like touch me or verbally abuse me, gang stalkers, I will sue them for that. Anything I can grab on them.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have body cam footage of me telling a guy he's extremely lucky. I don't know how but it was. I even watched it and I wasn't okay with it, man. This was, I've done some really some things that I don't know how I'm not locked up at least, right?
But dude, think about it. But think about these micers, microwave and torture 24 hours a day. We go through it for years and years and years. Oh, one day you get angry and you can get put in. Like, the system is completely corrupt, completely satanic mafia, to do this to people.
Correct. Right, but I think it's a little bit in terms of a little bit more simple than we want to elaborate on it, right? We are not on a terrorist watch list. Do I know this for a fact? No, but listen, we are on a list. But that list is what this document says, that we could become potential threats to the community and go shoot people up because, they can tell these people, hey, look at give those names, Myron, May, Aaron, Alexis. Those people self-identify as the same person you're living next to. So we want to prevent. You see how all that works?
Yeah, it feeds into itself. They make it feed into the system.
But it's 100% entrapment.
Yeah.
Whether it's the
street
theater,
entrapment.
it is designed. They want to provoke you enough to use those words so they can say they feel threatened to call 911, to have the police show up. And where are you going? You're getting 5150. You see how this works? Like,
yeah, and I think they're trying to stop targeted individuals from like talking to the gang stalkers about what they're involved in too. So if they can make it like, oh, these people are crazy, if they say any of these words, please report that, then it stops the gang stalkers from even like taking a second to if we ever do tell them, what's going on. Like, just report this, that's crazy talk, While they're involved in the gang stalking, if they say anything about gang stalking while you're gang stalking them, then you need to report them. I mean, what?
Well, so you ready for this? Is a true story. This guy's name is Richard Moore. He's from North Mississippi. He has a YouTube. Well, he has a Facebook kind of group. I don't know how all that works. I'm not on Facebook, but he had door cam footage, those Ring doorbells, being harassed by someone specifically who we knew. It caught the person's license plate. Well, he went on and actually said the guy's name and his address. Guess what happened the next day?
What?
Richard was arrested for stalking him.
Wow. Really? So what did Richard do to him? Say that again. What did Richard do to him?
So I'll tell the story one more time. So
sorry.
And I've heard this from Richard. This is not hearsay. So Richard he lives in North Mississippi by himself. He's been targeted since 2006. He gets gang stalked, not directed energy weapons. Nice guy, really trying to fight for the cause. He really is, with whatever he can do. Well, there was a night of his, I guess, Ring doorbell camera that's set up outside, or his security camera, picked up two guys. One guy was driving, the other guy he could identify. because he got out and went up, and the guy was kind of looking through his, his door window or whatnot, and the truck was perfectly aligned where you could pick up, that's how dumb these people are, right? You'd pick up, their license plate, and he got all this on footage. Well, he went on his Facebook group and shared the actual footage showing. Not he wasn't just he wasn't just trying to say what's the word? What they do to us? Just make things up without. He had evidence, right?
Yeah, so he was just showing what was happening. Yeah.
He shows the person, he shows the vehicle, and that day there was a knock on the door, on Richard's door. Since he posted that on Facebook, they arrested Richard for stalking both of those men. Sorry.
How did he get put in jail, or did he just get a fine for it?
Oh, he got put in jail. They made an example out of him.
Yeah, we've got to stop that. Like, we've got to let people know how much we're being, totally victimized over and over and over again. It's unbelievable.
I mean, did that story make sense? I mean, if there's any questions I can answer, I'm off in left field. I'm trying to stay in some sort of a chronological order, but there's just so much information.
No, you're doing great. No,
I mean, are there any questions?
Do you guys in chat have any questions for Jeff? I was just pulling up this article real quick while we see if some people in chat have questions for you. This lawsuit.
Yeah.
Florida Sheriff's Intel program harasses people. So a federal lawsuit contends that a Florida sheriff is violating people's rights through an intelligence-based policing program that improperly targets and harasses them. The sheriff rejects those claims. This is a sheriff that's working under DHS fusion centers in Infraguard, and they're just making this news story like it's just this individual sheriff that decided to do all this stuff. Unbelievable. But the cool thing is that all these targeted individuals in Florida sued the hell out of this sheriff's department. So it gives us a good idea of like who can we prove that has our name and it's proven that they're harassing us, which would be the sheriff's department. I think the sheriff's department is the point. What do you think, Jeff? What do you think about that?
I think you're right. Look, before we get off the subject of the police interaction.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, now I completely forgot what I was. This is ridiculous.
It happens to me. Is so bad.
But it's happened. It just wiped my brain.
We were talking about your friend, your TI friend who got put in jail.
No, there was something at the very end of the conversation where I let the guy know.
I'm trying to think.
All right, keep on with this. It'll come back, and I'll.
Well, let me read a little bit more of this and just be thinking about what you wanted to say, and then anybody in chat, just be thinking about any questions you want to ask Jeff about those situations. Like, I'm trying to think of questions, but like my memory's like getting erased as we go along. But far from being a predictive policing program that focuses on future crimes that someone may commit, the Prolific Offender Program and the At-Risk Youth Program are focused on serving our community, a Pasco sheriff statement said. BS. The lawsuit was filed by the Institute for Justice, a public interest law for Pasco County residents who have encountered the sheriff's program. So, Institute for Justice is a good name to know for targeted individuals. Maybe they can help us out wherever we are. I don't know if it's a local organization.
Huh.
I can't believe that they're just the sheriff's not required to say, "Oh, I work for DHS. I'm doing this for DHS fusion centers." They have to hide that. Like, they have to hide that information.
Sorry. I just remember. I don't want to cut you off. I did just remember. The guy, they made sure they ran my ID to see if anything came up, and obviously nothing did, except for two different charges that I never did. I mean, one was a speeding ticket, and another was a public affray, meaning you had a one-on-one confrontation with someone. Can you believe that? So they actually came back in with my ID and told me that I had a speeding ticket recently, and I had a public affray at some sort of bar downtown, and it was just me and this other guy wrestling on the ground. None of that happened. Listen,
And you
this
didn't
is
get
insane.
arrested for that? You didn't get a ticket? Like you didn't
No,
get
it
a
didn't
ticket
happen.
or
It
anything
didn't
for
happen.
that?
No, it didn't happen. I never wrestled. That situation didn't happen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That situation never happened, and I haven't had a speeding ticket in 7 years, man. Listen, so what he
And that was
saw, what
so that I just want to clarify, you were at the city police and they were able to show you this stuff of crimes you had not committed.
well, they wouldn't
So,
show me. They wouldn't sit it in front of me. They wanted me just to take their word, which I could because it was inaccurate.
okay.
Like, how can you? We're at a police department. How can you run my ID and come back and tell me I had two charges that never existed?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this.
Yeah,
I went to
because
the hospital. I mentioned it to you. Remember, I told you about my thyroid, right? My thyroid shut down. Remember,
mhm.
I sent you that. So my thyroid shut down, and they were severely attacking. I thought my pancreas at the time, or spleen, whatever's on this side, and everything else. Well, I go in there. They did blood work. Um, Again, where was I going with this story?
You went to the doctor, got blood work because your thyroid like shut down,
Well, right. Well,
and
I didn't
your
know that at the time. They ran all the tests. Oh, okay. So, man, my brain is being wiped. But they came back and the lady said, "So you have had a echocardiogram,"
mm-hmm.
and she said, "And you've had a myocardial infraction." Kyle, I've had neither.
So they just put that on your medical report. That showed up on your medical report that you
And
had all these heart
listen,
problems,
they actually said I
and
had
you'd
a
never been diagnosed with them. You'd never been diagnosed with
never.
those. And,
They actually said I had a heart attack, which is a myocardial infraction. And
right.
then they
When did
said
they
that
say
I
you
had
had that? Did,
in 2014. And then they
okay.
said recently I had a cardio stent graft where they actually go in. Bro, I'm 38 years old, right? I'm healthy. But the point is there not a little bit of a common thing here? Like the police are running my ID with my name on it,
Yeah.
and the police should have accurate information. That's what they do. And a
Mm-hmm.
hospital should have accurate information because that's what they do. They can kill you if you come in and you're allergic to insulin, but they don't have that on. You understand how serious this is, man? So
Yeah, it's very serious. But
I go in anywhere and show my ID, and whether it's not that, I'll even show my ID where I found out I had 42 known associates that all were in some sort of drug cartel with the Colombians. Yeah,
right.
listen, so it
See,
doesn't
that's what
matter.
you talking about. It makes me want to see my records, my medical records, and we all need to be doing this. We all need to go and at least see what we're being accused of and what's on file. You know.
Listen, I believe right now, if we have 50 people in here,
Yeah,
excuse me.
60 people. This is the
Listen,
most I've ever had in a live stream.
well, here's
This
what
is
I'll
the
say.
most.
I'll say half of the people are probably believing that what I'm saying, I'm either fabricating or lying, and I can tell you I'm not. Every single thing that I have said is 100% accurate, and that's why I'm trying to retrieve these things. You know,
Mhm. I think
but I
any
do want.
targeted individual would believe you. Like any targeted
Well,
individual would
but let's
understand.
be real. But what I'm saying, even as a TI,
Oh
Like
yeah, might be like,
I had
oh, you're just
guns.
making up a story or something.
Right. So that's, listen,
Hmm.
if I heard someone say this, I would say, hey, this guy's trying to fear monger. So he's telling us not to have any interaction with the police. And, there's no way he had guns pulled on him and then let go. And they let him,
But no, you're
police.
saying you got the police were good. The city police were actually like, oh wow, how'd you get this? And they were like showing you. So that's like not fear mongering at all.
Right. No,
The,
I'm just using it
the
as an example. Like, that I want to specify every single thing that I am saying. I have no reason to fabricate the story. This is what's going on. And that's why my targeting has taken a turn. Look, I've been targeted for over 5.5 years. I'm going to go ahead and say it. They are
mm,
starting with the sexual stuff. All right.
mm,
And it's affecting me. I'm really not having a good go at targeting right now. It's honestly. So I'm on here because I need to be, and people need to hear this because this is
yes.
extremely valuable information because there are variables that are happening everywhere I go, meaning the hospital, the police department, right? There's something like even websites I'm going on to, I'm trying to get into maybe experimenting with some Bitcoin. All right. Just giving this an
Mm,
example. Well, there's 3 sites, Coinbase, CoinMama, and they're all giving me the rundown almost as if in a way they're telling me that they cannot enact an account for me because I have had exposure on certain darknet sites with vendors who have sold me drugs. I mean,
what?
does that?
So
Well, I mean,
you think you're
they've
like,
actually told me that. No, they've actually told me that. They said, well, we can shut down your account because so what happens is if you go on Coinbase, you want to have an
mm-hmm,
independent wallet where you buy it from Coinbase and transfer it to your independent wallet. So you would never keep
mm-hmm,
the money you bought on Coinbase in their wallet because they will see exactly where those coins go to. Because it is decentralized. Don't get me wrong, right?
but it's not
It's a
completely
decentralized,
anonymous.
but it's not. So what I did when I was in, that part of my life, I uh I actually sent to a third party and I washed I did money laundering. I washed my coins. I
Mm,
did. I paid a fee. And then what I would do is I would take those and put it into the one I paid for, not a free one. It's called blockchain, right? Where you can't tell, you can put the clean money in there and do whatever you want. Well, these companies are now saying that in some way I slipped up, and they know for a fact that I sent these dark net markets a direct deposit from their agency, and they can be shut down and federally prosecuted for. I mean, it's like they're
yeah,
trying to pass this insane blame that I haven't messed
it's a
up one time,
setup.
man. I've been doing this for 10 years. I bought Bitcoin when it was sixteen
Mm,
dollars a piece. Seriously, $16, 2011. Now it's 58,000 a piece. All right, I've been doing this for a
wow.
decade. I know what I'm doing. I've never made a mistake, and yet all 3 of these companies are saying the exact same thing. Like that almost there is a investigation because they know that I have used their service to buy illegal products. That's not the case
Mm,
at all. So what
mm-hmm.
I mean by that, police department, look, any direction I go in, I'm getting the runaround, man. I'm getting I believe it's entrapment, man. I believe that's that is my targeting right now. Whatever can go down that can entrap me into something. I don't know what that is, but
Yeah, just making up stuff, just making up evidence. Like I'm sure they've
what?
made up evidence, but I haven't. Like I want to go check and see because you can actually see what they're, you know, just fabricating on your somebody wanted to know, like Toxic Avenger wanted to know, where were you able to see your known associates? That was with the city police.
Oh, yeah, no.
The,
So I went in. So I was in.
like known
I was in.
associates.
I lived in East Boston, and I went there, and they had to give me a form, and then I actually had to go down to the main, next to City Hall, like to actual file of, a dumb piece of paper, and that's where I found out. I actually got the piece of paper showing that. Now I had many more known associates. A few of them I did know, like ex-roommates, but there were 42 people, and included in that was the owner of the coffee shop, right?
Yeah.
So right after that, the overt stuff started happening, man. Like, so that's what people need to understand is it doesn't take you doing something wrong. It takes you being literally walking past a drug dealer and him asking for a cigarette and you stopping for 4 seconds to give him a cigarette. That, I'm not saying it would, but
you become an associate.
You could immediately become associate from giving a guy a cigarette or a piece of gum that you've never met and he's a drug lord. Now you're targeted. People have no idea what this is about to go into, man. Like, I believe.
Well, and you got, like, I mean, you got, if you go to a certain hospital that implants you and stuff like that. So it's like, there's so many ways that you can get targeted by not even doing anything wrong, just being around the wrong people, you know.
That's right.
So.
And, and I have a history of that, right? Like, I have a history of being around some people I never should have been around, right? And a lot of that stuff, like when I moved out to California, some things happened, and that's when it really got started. When I was living by Camp Pendleton, and I was experiencing just a lot of police, harassment, and that kind of slowed down. And then I drove back to the country, and just odd things. So I mean, it would have to be 4 hours to, go over all that. I've never really shared my entire story. But right now I can say, since the lawyer called me that Friday saying we're not handing it over, and then I decided to go talk to the police, and that lady was actually writing it down, saying she was going to look into, she did. She said, whether she is or not, but she wrote everything down. What could possibly, put me on a list that she, I'm not, and I never said it was a terrorist watch list. I believe it's some sort of a list of people that could become potentially dangerous, and they need to always be watched. So we need to make noises around them. We need to sensitize them with colors. We need to sensitize them with, so wherever they go, we can use these triggers where they know they can never commit the crime. It makes sense. If you look at how does it go
with the microwave, but with the microwave torture involved too, because the programs are so non-transparent. It's like, oh, we're gonna murder them and amp up their brain with anger or whatever, and then the police don't even know what they're doing. Oh, we're gonna make these noises and gang stalk them so they don't do any crimes, but really, with the whole program they don't know about, it's really trying to make those people do crimes, trying to make us do crimes.
Of course. Of course.
It's such crazy deceit. It's such crazy deceit. Like, that is just, that's why, yeah.
Yes. If I am mowing the lawn, everything's fine, and they put that police officer, I'm not giving him a way out. He knows what he's doing. All right? So, no, he's not, I'll give the guy across the street, a way out. But this guy, well, if my heart starts getting attacked, which I would look like a crazy person saying that because you can't see it. Well, yeah. I'm definitely more likely to literally hop that fence and rip his face off, to be honest with you. I don't want to say that on YouTube, but
Dude,
You know,
when that
th-
house that burnt down, I was like raking leaves with my parents, and they were externally hitting me in the chest and externally hit me in the head. And I kept looking over at my neighbor's house. That's when I thought that it was just my neighbor doing it, the ex-military guy. And I was like, I got to get in there and get those weapons, you know. But
right,
then
right,
I, you
right.
know, then I learned it was more remote, and then a lot of these people maybe participate on a small level. In my case, so I was like, okay, well, I can't, you know, even if I barge into somebody's house, they're not gonna have, they may not have any weapons, you know. So
Well, the chances are
but
they're
I
not,
thought of it.
right?
They're not
So,
what?
but I want to clarify, like, and I let the so I, you know, I actually apologized to the police officer. There was one time I was mowing the grass, and he was definitely very highly participating and trying to trigger me. And at the end of it, I was just kind of loudly singing, you know, hey, only, you know, real men don't gang stalk, only pussies do. You know, just I mean, and right next to him, like saying, you are a pussy. Straight up, you're a police officer. I'm gonna go, you're a pussy. You would never,
Mhm.
you would never confront me like a real man, ever.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you know, that's not the right thing to do. Let's be real. Like, I mean, I felt good at the time, but so the second time, this past time, I did apologize to him. Right. So I'm still trying to play this, I don't know, good guy at certain times. You know, he is willing to stop and talk to me. He's not rude, but there's never a day where he doesn't actively participate. So I'm almost
Yeah.
beginning to believe this guy doesn't work for the police department anymore, and he's young. Maybe they went to him and said, you know, you do this for us, and we'll take care of you. You can retire now. We don't know this, right? Like,
Yeah. I kind of think that it's supplemental income. Like, because I get vehicularly stalked by a lot of women in SUVs, just like soccer moms, and then, you know, kind of gangstified people. And I think they vehicular stalk. But like police vehicular stalking, you know, I think they're assigned to it, but they could probably make money out of it. You know, I
hey,
guess.
there's
I
a
don't really know.
what does he use for shooting? Is this a question for me? Or
Yeah, I was just pulling up questions, and I'm just going to put them on the screen that people ask.
so, Judge Judy, nice meeting you. Dave Case CD. You know, Kyle and I have been running with that for 4 years. That was the first thing I got. You know, the grounding, I will say, it seemed to work better in the old house that I lived in a couple years ago. This house is so old that that yeah, this house is so old that actually when you plug in, what is it called? You know, that shows if it's grounded. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle?
Yeah,
Like
that
plug
little,
in,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, this one, no matter what, it's so old that it says it's not grounded. So
Mm.
it's almost like a psychological. I don't really trust it as much.
That
You
does
know,
affect it. Like if you're not sure if
yeah.
it's working, then yeah, that does affect it.
So the Dave Case CD, I actually went out and I bought two. No, no, but two rubber mats. Like, you know, the mats that have the little suction cups that you put on the bottom of the shower.
Yeah, yeah. Is that working?
Look, I'm a grown man. I'm a 37-year-old. Like, so when I mean, I don't care what it look, it works. I went
Yeah.
into Walmart and bought those specifically.
What do
But
you
here's
do?
the
You
intro.
just do you just but do you just lay on? Do you just stack them and lay on them, or do you put one on
No,
top and then
I put them
put
over
one?
my organs because I get attacked in my
Okay.
organs.
So are they rubber or plastic?
They're
Is
rubber.
it like
You
rubber?
cannot get vinyl or plastic. It has to be rubber. Yeah.
I think that's a
But
great
here,
idea. If a TI gets in a lot, if they're getting a lot of external hits, you can get like a car, you know, those rubber things they put on the floor of a car, or whatever the shower thing, and just cover your body with that because it's going to be
right,
microwave heat
right.
externally, and that rubber is going to block it. It's going to just block it off.
So
That's a
here's
great
what I'll
idea.
tell. Here's what I'll tell you. There's a common occurrence. Maybe 5 months ago. Well, when I went in with my thyroid, right? When I like something was shutting down. So, and I was being attacked, my heart and all this. Well, I go in there, and I didn't, obviously I didn't tell them about directed energy weapons. I just wanted to know what possibly could be vibrating my heart, you know. And I came back, and I was being heavily attacked for, say, 4 days, but I mean heavily. Well, the day I got back, they did not attack me for a week. Nothing. A week straight.
Wow.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
the second is that's relevant because when I went into the police department, they attacked me from when the lawyer called me 10 hours after that until I went in a week later to speak to the police. Well,
They
after that,
wanted you, yeah, yeah. They
after
wanted to
that,
mess you up.
after that,
Yeah.
I'm actually not being heavily targeted. Like I think it's a psyop because I told you I stopped listening to Dave Case because
Yeah.
I put it on and they attacked me. And I'm so exhausted. Truly, I can't function, so exhausted. Where I just said, I'm going to do it for one day, and one day turned into 2 days. 2 days are, you know how that goes. And they have not been attacking me. So there's this common occurrence. It's like when I go to the hospital and claim my case, so when I go here, and it has to be a psyop because it always continues, and it gets worse. But I can honestly say in the last 5.5 years, my targeting has never been this bad. And now I believe, all right, so this morning, I'm standing up, 8 in the morning, I'm standing up, brushing my teeth. I had a seizure.
You
A
had a
seizure.
seizure?
So
Was it
see
like a
how this all
real?
goes. So listen,
Is it a full seizure?
I've had actually full. So whenever I came off benzodiazepines, back in my day, I always had seizures within 72 hours. They were grand mal seizures. This
Oh
wasn't.
wow.
This was. I felt. There's an aura that comes over you. Anybody who's had a seizure knows how it feels. And I actually kind of fell down, hit my elbow, not my head, and I laid down, and my eyeballs were actually more pinpointed. That's usually kind of a sign. I was confused, right?
Right.
Um, and there was no reason. I haven't had a seizure in forever. See how many things I'm saying, man. People are probably believing that I'm making. This is all happening within the last
Well, for
three
me,
weeks.
like, let me just tell you, as a targeted individual, you're saying all these things, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, because you're getting attacked constantly, you're getting harassed by gang stalking constantly. Like, stuff like this happens to all of us. But you actually got some good information from the city police. Like
Yes.
with me, I don't have seizures, but I'll get in so much pain and I'll just start shaking. Like I'll get up in the morning and my spine is just it feels so compressed, and I'll just go to the bathroom. I won't like give any details, but I'll be like shaking. I'll be shaking for the first like hour that I wake up because my nervous system is just so tense. It's just been so many signals to my nervous system that I get real shaky, you know. But I've never had a seizure from it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not as bad as the grand mal seizures. Those will put you out. But so
Mm-hmm.
I contacted you and said, I got my body mats and my Dave case. Are they microwaving my head now? Like, because right now they didn't
It
start the
seems like
session.
nothing, no high pitched sound right now or anything like
No,
that.
nothing.
I get kind of worried about that because I know Dave Case's CD works, but I also know if I don't use it, sometimes they'll do the same thing. Like when it won't. I'll be like, oh, I feel pretty good. I don't feel anything. It's like they're building it up silently, and the reason, and I'm always thinking like the high pitched sound is them hooking in more, and that's them building up the connection to the brain. But I think they can also connect to the brain silently with electromagnetic fields. And the reason why, well, I mean, we all know, do we know this? The reason why the targeting gets worse and worse is because they're just hooking into your brain and mapping your brain, and they're more easily able to create pain. So they get more hooked onto your brain as it goes along. So the targeting just gets so much worse. It's like, oh my God, the targeting's worse, but it's because they're manipulating the brain a lot more intensely, because they're getting in resonance with it, you know. Like Dave KCD, those noise canceling hearing aids, I'm swearing to you guys, for some targeted individuals that nothing else worked, those were the only thing that worked, you know. And Dr. Hoffer recommended them. So that could actually help with your the heart attacks, because what they're probably doing is they're probably hitting you externally and remote neural manipulating your heart to beat faster. But if you can cut off the remote neural manipulation, you know,
right.
I don't know exactly, you know, I don't know, but I'm just
so Kyle, as I said, you know, the last live stream we went on, I was 70 pounds heavier than I am now.
Yeah, you look skinny. You look good, man.
I went from 245, I'm 174 right now. And it has been a struggle. I've had to dial in. If anybody has any questions on how to lose weight as a DI, it is so tough. You know, metabolic reasons. I've been dealing with a lot of my thyroid shut down. I had evidence, you know, Kyle saw that. I had to get my thyroid back without medication. It's back. I've had to take a few supplements, but, you know, diet, exercise, definitely. But also cortisol, guys, this stuff's killing you. Cortisol will obviously, you will gain fat every day. You have to find something for cortisol. I mean, I have a recommendation if anyone, I don't want to plug it here, but it's something I've been using. And I went from 202 pounds that I couldn't break to 180 within 2 weeks. Cortisol, I feel better. I know I'm saying all this because I've been brutally attacked the last. What's that?
The product? Can you say the product that reduces
cortisol levels? Do you want me to show you the product?
Yeah, because I need to do that. My stress levels are so high that my body and my adrenaline don't work right, you know?
Yeah, can you give me 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
1 sec, yeah.
And I just want to say, Artist of Elion said, you said, guys, come on, the police don't even have enough regular equipment. This is too much. Maybe you're thinking that we're saying the police, like the sheriffs and the city police, are the ones that are hitting us with directed energy weapons. We're not saying that. We're just saying they have an involvement, and it's a compartmentalized involvement in this. And then some people in the sheriff's department actually do have ground weapons. So I kind of wanted just to address that.
Okay, comment, all right. So listen, you know? I ran out and threw away the bottle. But can you put this in chat? I can tell you the name of it.
Yeah. What is it?
Okay, it's E as in Edward, M O D as in David, I N.
Imodin. Okay.
It's been around
forever. I
need
to get some of that.
Listen, it helps reduce stress, blood pressure, insulin sensitivity. It is, if I had to choose one product, I know it actually helps with detoxification as well. If I had to choose one product, straight up, it would be this. No question asked. It's so all of us should. I mean, that is our stress hormones. Our adrenals are overly taxed, because that's all we're doing with this trauma all day long.
Yeah, and I think that our attackers literally specifically target like our cortisol levels.
They do.
Our vagus nerve.
They do.
Our adrenaline, like our adrenal glands and everything. It's like with the brain, they can shut down things like and interfere with our endocrine system. You know.
Do you know that when I went to the hospital, when I told Kyle about my thyroid issue, it wasn't just that my thyroid was hypothyroidism. It actually came back, and I sent it to him. It showed that my TSH from my pituitary gland was having to release another hormone that it never should, just because my thyroid was it was shut down. It wasn't this hypo. This is what these weapons can do. Okay, and this stuff is killing you when your hormones. Another, I've been trying to get my estrogen to testosterone as a man balanced, and I put on some muscle and lost some weight. That wasn't the main objective, but I've been looking into it. That will increase your immune system and the way you fight out. We all have parasitical issues in our body. These hormones, if they're all out of whack,
like
it's just you're destroying your body from within. So what I started focusing on, first cortisol. Well, no, first my thyroid, I got that in check. Then my cortisol, and now I'm dealing with estrogen. Testosterone is going to be last, because if I can somewhat cut out estrogenic, we live in a very estrogenic world, meaning
it's all in our
the
food
water,
and our, yeah.
the water we drink, that plastic leaches estrogen into the water.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. I mean, the things that we eat, the fermented food, the tofu, men should never be engaging in soy, and that's why you see a lot of guys walking around with boobs bigger than girls. I'm sorry to say, but like, listen, we are a very fat, sedentary, and these hormones, they will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these weapons are going for. They're going for your thyroid. They're going to keep you in high stress. You should never be releasing cortisol at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
but you better believe
completely relaxed. But we are all the time.
Right.
Probably when we sleep, dude. Probably when we sleep, we're releasing cortisol because my attackers.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, we are.
Yeah, because my attackers, that's when they hit me the hardest, and they like hypnotize me, and they're like hitting me in the groin. If any guy is getting hit in the groin, do the copper scrubbies. They can get through it sometimes, but it's like it deters them from doing the sexual with the external hits.
Well,
that's why I recommend that.
That's just started with me, man. It's a crazy situation. It's and all they want is for me to get up, barely functioning, barely, like literally where I can walk down the hallway. So then I can, like I told you, right now they're looking. I had a great first part of the day. Great, man. I slept even like 5 hours, it seems. I had a great dinner before. I called my father, and I was like, man, I feel like the old me. Well, then I get almost an ice pick headache, like worse than a migraine, almost. So I took an Imitrex, and Kyle and I already had this plan. So I said, all right, I'll feel better. I turned off the lights for 20 minutes, turned it on, called Kyle, immediately threw up. I mean, it's.
Well, dude, Saturday, when you were like, hey, let's go and do a live stream, I swear, like I was over at my aunt's, and like my migraines hurt so bad, and it was that like a microwave ice pick to the side of my head, where it was like I was having trouble even moving my jaw, and I was like, dude, I really just can't even do it today. So it's like they were just trying, like when you're ready to do a live stream, my attackers were targeting me so hard, and then they're making you throw up like right before we do a live stream. This is ridiculous. Like we should at least be able to have a little YouTube channel to talk about this. If they're murdering us, they won't give us anything. It's like they won't give us 1 inch to live or breathe while they microwave us to death, and then have all these people. I got gang stalked by like a 10-year-old kid today. Like he was coming by my car, and he like pretended to be on the phone and like looked at me and then pulled it down right after he'd finished walking. And I know he's the son of his parents gang stalked me. So he probably heard something about.
Sorry, you froze up a bit. Sorry. I can add to that story. How's this? So there's an 85-year-old, nice lady right across the street. Her name's Doris. Well, I don't know how nice she is. She's a gang stalker. Well, she had her granddaughter over, and I was on the phone with my father, and we were talking about the coronavirus. I sent him a funny video on YouTube, and it was, a pleasant conversation. I said, yeah, this coronavirus has society jumping through hoops. Within 20 seconds, that 9-year-old girl came outside jumping through a hula hoop in front of me.
Yeah, I've had weird stuff like that happen.
A kid, a child. How does that conversation go? Listen, let me ask you this.
Or were they mind? This is my thing, Jeff. Hold on, just one second. I'm sorry for interrupting, but
no.
could either be the child could either be mind controlled, or they could just be listening to their parents talk about gang stalking, and then they just go and do it.
Okay, so
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. Let's touch on the first one. If they could go in and mind control someone, why couldn't they mind control me right now and say, "Hey, Kyle, he's not worth it. You need to go out there and buy a gun and shoot your neighbor." I mean, listen, if it's that people that talk about mind manipulation,
behavioral conditioning is what I call it.
Okay, but mind control would be specifically, there is in no way, shape, or form that somebody walks out to their mailbox that I can see with a cooler in their hand while my father's telling me to cool off.
No, that's definitely directed gang stalking.
That's too specific. Yeah. So if they had mind control, they would specifically do mind control. You understand?
But I don't know. I think they would do both. I think they would do both. If they could get people, the crud in society, to do the gang stalking, they would do that. But if they had somebody that didn't know anything about this, say a child, and then they just put a quick impulse in that child's head to go out the hula hoop, but the child doesn't know anything about mind control, so it's like the child's not resisting, right? And they put that little impulse, which too, and they could ignore the impulse, and maybe that child wouldn't have come out and did the hula hoop thing, but it worked. The impulse then made her come out. It's just a theory. It's just a theory. Her parents.
Well, listen, your theories your theories make sense. So a lot of theories don't. So and also, Kyle, you do know that legally it didn't have to be any other. You were, Gloria Aquino says you were owed your tooth back.
Yeah, dude. I'm pissed about that. So many
that would give
years
you peace of mind. Yeah. I mean, that was listen, that's part of your body, right? Like,
even if there wasn't an implant.
You better believe, man, if I have to go in there and some reason get my wiener cut off, I'm keeping it. You're not keeping it. I'm keeping it. I don't know what I would do with it, but I mean, that was a bad example. I'm saying it's part of my body. Like, it's going in my Hall of Fame case. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one else is keeping. I don't care if it's that was a bad example. I'm sorry, ladies. I didn't mean it. But a true, like, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm just trying to make a point here. That, this is our bodies, and we are fully being experimented on. People have experimented. Okay, this goes so far deep, man. But I think it's much more simple. It's just too compartmentalized. You understand what I'm saying? I believe it's a little bit more simple than what we're trying, but they're giving out misdirection. Even Robert Duncan, I've been listening to a little bit of his jazz will say. I'm not, saying anything negative, but he has a way of answering questions as, yes, we are, meaning answering
he's
him
involved.
and this, yes.
Like, he still connects himself. I
don't like it, man. I don't like it.
Well, he can't say certain things about what he's worked on and what he knows about this, because if he did, he would have talked about the vestibular system like a long time ago. Like, this is a huge area that they're getting the signal to the brain, and then the brain sending pain signals to the body. And I feel like he would have talked about the vestibular system. There were things that he didn't talk about that would have helped target individuals, But I'm not sure, because his life isn't that great. It seems like he's going through a lot.
Well, Right, he's drinking. He's, of course, right. Like,
Yeah.
I know how that goes. I mean,
Me too.
I think about it every day. You know, I do. If it's not every
Mhm.
other, if it's not every day, it means I haven't been going through a period of the 3 weeks I have this last, you know. But
Well, especially
I'm
when you're in pain all the time. I mean, you're in pain from the
all
targeting
the
all the time,
time,
and then it's
all
even
the
worse.
time.
It's not just like, I want to smoke a little weed or drink something like when you're not in pain, then you just don't do it. But you're in so much pain, you just want anything to kind of change your state of mind, about the
That's
whole
it.
thing,
That's it.
you
That's
know.
it.
And
And
I take
that's
kratom.
why well, that's why I would recommend kratom, maybe a low dose Ativan, maybe, you know, but also, well, maybe not the Ativan. I mean, I don't know, depending, it can become addictive, but it does help with the central nervous system, you know, dealing
Yeah,
with
it just
that.
suppresses it. It just like
And
suppresses the central
well,
nervous
and
system.
it helps with the actual trauma being induced, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, there are chemical, you know, shielding that is important. You know, it's just going back into the shielding, Kyle. Do I need to? I feel when I wake up now, since they're not attacking my body, it's like the David Blaine, see what's in my left hand, don't look what's in my right. So, hey, if we're not attacking you there, then we must not be attacking you anywhere. But I wake up with both,
Mm,
like kind of like right at the bottom of my crown on both sides, and I
mm.
have this migraine. It'll only last for like 12 minutes, maybe, but then it
Yeah.
comes back later in the day.
Well, this is one thing that I know for sure, Jeff. They hit me in the back of the head a lot, and I think they do that. They're doing a wide stream, conducts along the skin over to the ears and the cranial nerves. So they're hitting that spot back there, and then it's conducting along the skin to get to your vestibular system. So like blocking the back of our head and our neck is going to be really important. But it's like that's not even just the only thing that they do. Like you're saying, if I'm ever if nothing's going on, the V2K is kind of low, right? And I'm not in pain. I'm like, oh, they're figuring something out, working on some kind of psyop. They're doing something, some kind of brain to computer interface, and trying to put some kind of angle of remote neural manipulation in my head.
Right.
But for but
Um,
for me, like honestly, I'm sorry, but just for me, honestly, it's been so long in the remote neural manipulation complicated. It's so complex that even at this point, I get a little bit lost when they're doing stuff to me. So that's a crappy thing. Early years, you target individuals need to like really learn about like what's going on with remote neural manipulation because it gets really like tar baby complicated when it goes on for so long. You know, I don't know what my point was
yes.
about that, but
No,
it's
no, no. That's,
whatever.
you know. I mean, and look, I do want to clarify the maybe some things I've said about, you know, pointing out, not saying names, but neighbors. You know, I have zero. There will never be a time where I go attack or hurt anyone. I want to make that very clear. You know,
Me
but
too,
I
and
do,
everybody in this
but
chat.
I do feel that that police officer did need to hear what I had to say. That's, you know, but there was never a time where there's going to be a threat involved. You know, because I don't know what these people are. They listen. The people that are knocking on these doors, they are the best of the best liars. They are as good of
Mhm.
liars as serial killers. You understand what I'm saying? I mean,
They've
they
been practicing for so
yeah.
long.
Listen, they're
They've been
trained.
doing these lying, deceiving protocols for so long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of this, Kyle, have you seen a video? I don't know if it's still on there, but there are two FBI agents. This is in Atlanta, Georgia, and there is a local sheriff. So there's three people, and they're standing there with files, and they knock on this guy's door, and they explain to him that they need to come in and sit down with him and explain a uh, top secret classified program that they need his involvement and help in dealing, uh, not dealing, but possibly because of a relationship with the guy's girlfriend's brother or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that he would sometimes see. And it all happened at the door. And this guy wanted information, and they were very awkward. They were very, just the typical FBI idiots. They couldn't talk outside, but they had to have the sheriff there to make it a little bit more legitimate, right? So, because that guy may have seen the sheriff going, if he's lived there in that town for however long, but he hasn't seen these two FBI. Well, he was never let in. They were never let in, and he let them know that he was not interested in helping support something, even the little bit that they explained to him outside. Now, I ask you
Right.
this: where are the rest of those videos? Are you telling me that we all have cell phones? If FBI knocked on my door, you don't think I would immediately, before I answer that door, turn on the video? Like, where
Yeah.
are these? Where are the rest of these?
There's some on YouTube where the FBI is coming to people's doors and they do videotape it. But I remember that was like from a long time ago. I bet you it's happening a lot more lately, and I guess people just don't turn on
Dude,
their
I just got
cameras.
serious sinus pain all. Man,
Dude,
dude.
that my attackers are just hitting me right here, just hit me in the temple right here, just nailing me.
But listen, guys, I will tell you, Delta 8, it's effective.
Yeah, I use the Delta 8 too, and it's like
Well,
it's like THC. It's like smoking green, where you don't get a psychotropic effect. You just get calmed down, the pain relief. You get hungry and stuff, but there's no psychotropic. Is that the way to say it? Like you don't have a you don't have the
psychoactives, yeah.
psychoactive. Yeah,
So,
that's it.
so can I give my rebuttal here?
Hmm.
I've never been I've been smoking THC since I was eight, eighth grade, whatever that was. So I've never, I've had medical cards, so I thought that meant you could go in and they could strain out where you're not, if you don't want to be hungry, you want to be tired, all these hybrid molecules. Well, none of it ever worked out for me. It all made me paranoid. Like it did. It made
Hmm.
me, just this, not paranoid, just not comfortable. Like I needed to sit, if I went into a restaurant, I needed to sit with a wall behind me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I knew, like, just in attack
Not
mode.
feeling safe. You're just not feeling safe. Like
Right.
everywhere I
Right.
go, I don't feel safe.
Well,
I
no,
don't
no,
feel
no, no,
safe in
no,
my
no, no, no,
home.
no. But this was, remember, this is talking about the. So
Mm-mm.
I'm relating it more to, just organic situations, right? That the actual
Mm-hmm.
symptoms are different, and those symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
for me, they take away all of the negative. I used to have restless leg syndrome. I had, certain twitches. I had a racing heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
If I've smoked a lot, I thought I should call the 911. I really did. I mean, I never did, but I thought I was going to die. It got that bad. And I've done,
Mm-hmm.
a few drugs where I've never had to do that. But THC specifically, if it was a,
Oh, dude, I forgot we were talking about that. I thought we were talking
yeah.
about targeting
Oh,
when you
no,
were
no.
talking
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
place.
yeah.
I was on a whole
So,
nother thing.
so we're just
My
comparing
fault.
yours to my, yeah, yeah. No worries. So, the Delta 8, somehow they removed that anxiety ridden, it truly, like, and I had it to the extent, but it doesn't give you quite that sativa THC high like you're smoking wax, right? Like a wax pen of,
Yeah.
I'm just give an example. Like that's not, that's gonna
Well,
probably
like
try.
I'll give you an example. Like I've smoked real green before, and you play video games and everything's like really bright, and it's almost like it's not like you're hallucinating or anything, but there's like a psychoactive effect that you're having with how you see
That's right.
things. Colors are like brighter and stuff like that. With the
That's right.
Delta 8 THC, it's not like that. It's like, oh, my headache's gone. I feel calmer. I'm hungry. Okay. Oh, it's
Right.
good, but it's not like
So for the people that, maybe want to start losing weight, the Delta 8 does not cause hunger. It does not cause anxiety. If I was in Colorado and I had a choice, no question, I would do Delta 8 over actual THC. That's me personally. Okay. It helps with sleep. Obviously getting hit with military weapons is not going to keep you asleep, but it does help. And it helps with nausea. I've been having a lot of nausea problems, a lot. Where was
I
I going?
really think the nausea. Can I just say this real quick? I really think the nausea, because I've experienced that too, and that's with heavy remote neural manipulation. They'll make me super nauseous where I'll have to lay down and it just doesn't even go away. But I feel like my attackers could do that to me right now if they wanted to, but they're kind of doing a bunch of other stuff. But I think that's like remote neural manipulation.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess my bottom line, I really want you to try those noise canceling hearing aids.
Yeah. Yeah. I will. I
'Cause
will.
that
I will.
that just like
I will.
I'm
So
sorry, I just the things that really work for me, and it's like, oh, it's horrible and annoying, and I almost lose my mind sometimes to the V2K. But it's like, oh, I can get up, I can go walk Pepper, I can go to the grocery store and stuff like that. So those things I use that I'm like, oh, this sucks, my day sucks, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna die today. You know, it's much better than like I can't even get out of bed and I feel like I'm not even going to wake up tomorrow. The kind of pain that they're putting me in.
right. Man, we can go on for hours with this. Again,
Yeah, man.
are there any specific questions? Because I have rambled on in so many different directions. I apologize.
No,
I
talk
did not.
more.
I mean, I did not. I should have possibly, for an hour at least, gone down and step by step so I could explain a little bit better. But are there any questions?
Let's see. Chat. You guys have any more questions for Jeff? And I was trying to think of some questions for when you were talking to the city police, because that would be like, I mean, so you and your dad went in. How did you initiate it? Like, how did you initiate the conversation with the city police?
That there is a problem in their neck of the woods
Okay.
specifically,
Like,
and I don't know how many. I'm assuming the things that I experience on a day-to-day basis, and I mean 24/7, that there are more targeted individuals than myself. I don't know this. I hope that all of this nonsense is not just for me. That's crazy, right? We all know that, right?
there's tons of people.
So I worked my way in, and that's when the lady pulled out the piece of paper, and she wanted to know more about my background to see if there was a, say, police. It was almost like reiterating if there was a police program that in some way watches, not covertly targets, but watches over people. You see what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like that. It seemed like, you know, they explained there were many programs that the FBI comes in with the viewing centers and they know nothing about. I mean, and they iterated that not just 10 or 20, we're talking about like hundreds of different programs that are being ran. Like, I believe it, you know,
Yeah, I do too.
it's very believable. And they let me, they really never lied to me. They obviously didn't tell me things that, but they, just the fact that we know that that document is legit, that has not
And
been,
well, and
that's
this is the thing too. Like your whole interaction with the city police, it shows that like we're actually moving forward. It shows that things are being decompartmentalized. Where at least police now are kind of like, whoa, these programs are running, and if we talk to them, they're not completely just like, oh, these people are mentally ill, right? So
right.
it's kind of hopeful. It's like progression, you know,
Not one
progression
time
through this.
did they ask me about medication. If I was mentally ill, they actually told me we can tell what was their exact words? You speak very, uh, again, I could use, if I, my mind's going blank again, but they use words, to, kind of praise like that I came in there without any notes and I explained myself very well. And that a person that has delusional, mental disorders, they do not care to prove their delusions. That's what they have experience with mentally ill people. Mentally ill people do not come in with documentation trying to prove that they're being stalked and harassed. You understand? Because they have a delusion.
Yeah.
Right?
And
There's a difference.
mentally ill people don't protest or do activism. Mentally ill people don't send testimonies into the UN where the UN is
Right.
investigating.
Right.
Not it's yeah. Because if we were going to say that what we're experiencing is mental illness, you'd have to say that all the Cuban embassy workers are mentally ill, the China consulate workers are mentally
mind
ill.
you, not to cut you off, I'm sitting across from them like this, right? I got a goatee, tattoos. I got a little muscle on me now. Like I'm, 38. I'm not a pushover at all. Just saying that. And I said, do you think I'm just here for my health? Like I know I don't have a gouging eyeball. I don't look like I'm being tortured, but I can tell you I am. That's the end. Mm-hmm. There was no rebuttal. I'm not gonna do this gaslighting thing. I'm sitting here looking you dead in the face and telling you for the last year and a half in your town, at my address, I can show you, you can pull it up and I can show you the exact window where I'm being tortured. It is happening. And you guys are told by the terrorist organization known as the Fusion Center that what we just believe it, but they're actually telling you the whole story and it's actually happening. And that's disturbing. And you guys are unwillingly participating in it, and that's even more disturbing.
Did they say that did you tell them that specifically?
Specifically, yes.
How did they respond to that?
They couldn't. They said we're gonna need time to look into this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my next step is when I go in to get the body cam, they denied me. My father and I are going to go to the FBI. See how this is working?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to sit down and say,
y'all are deciding to go to the FBI.
Yes, and we're covering all of our bases.
That's a good idea.
So everybody in this town is going to know. Let's just say I go to Trader Joe's and I have a confrontation with 4 guys and it's all street theater and they say I touched a girl's butt, whatever. I mean, not I would never touch a girl's butt, only guys. I'm kidding. But anyways, so
I would never ever touch a girl's butt, ever.
I touched Kyle's, but I didn't look him in the face, so it was okay. Now listen. So say I'm in Trader Joe's.
I don't kiss either.
Right. It was eye lock though. It was that new. Well, we won't get into that. But say I had a confrontation and there was a couple workers and a couple, gang stalkers are there to lie and say something. Well, if the cops call and I say, hey, can you call Captain this or Sergeant this, and they show up. And they've already and the story just doesn't really make sense. It almost seems like what I already told them could have happened that day. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, this guy threw a pack of ginger snaps at us and hit our girl in the butt, but he meant to do so. I could possibly look at those cops and say, do you really believe that? Because I've already prefaced it and they know where I stand. This is what I believe this is what TIs need to do. And if you, I don't recommend right now going down there by yourself because things get heated. Entrapment. If I was by myself and my father wasn't with me, they could have maybe used words to try to get me to say things that I would. So I would recommend at least trying your best to go down there with someone. But if you have that opportunity, do not delay. Go down there. I can send you these documents. Kyle will give you. Well,
and
Kyle,
That's the thing. Okay, so Toxic Avenger asked an important question. The DHS leak docs, where can we get a copy? You sent them to me by text, and like I had to actually
I'll send it. Can you put my email down there?
Yeah, what's your email?
So it's JEFFOQUINN 9266 at Gmail.
66 at Gmail. Okay, and you can send people, and I guess send them the that thing about predictive policing too, if you can do that.
Oh yeah,
Is there
but
is there an easier way for us to maybe put it up on my channel? Like I'll make a post. Is there any way to get those JPEGs in those files like on a YouTube post? I'm having trouble with that. I can put links on everything, but I can't put like a PDF. Like, because I don't want, I'd rather we just put it all out so people could get it. Is there a way that we can do that?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out.
But speaking of that, my battery is at 7% right now.
Okay.
Well, I would love to stay here. Like, again, all I want to do is get on here, so I'm glad I did, even for the short period of time. And Kyle and I will get that other document. I promise everyone, and we'll go over that again. Right?
Fist bump. Yeah, dude, you can come on any time. This is awesome. This is the most people I've ever had on a live stream.
Well, we can do it once a week. I'm doing a lot of investigation. I don't know. But we need to get this stuff out.
You're working on individual projects. You're like trying to get that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the neurologist. But like I want to go in. I think my mom would go in with me to the city police, and I want to see what they have on file for me. And that's one thing that we need to stress.
I would do that.
We need to stress that probably don't go in alone. If you're gonna attempt this, don't go by yourself.
Right.
Bring in somebody with you.
Exactly. Yeah. And guys, I have a very interesting relationship with pharmacology as far as chemical shielding that I've been kind of testing on myself a little bit. If Kyle, you put my email in there, please, anyone feel free to ask me any questions. My favorite color, what kind of girls I like. I'm kidding, but like any questions on the Imodin, the cortisol supplement, the things that can get whether you're a man, testosterone to estrogen, these things are very important so the body's immune system has a better chance of fighting back. We need to do this one by one. And it's not just, I love Look Out for Charlie, but it's not just this, I've looked into it. He's smart. It's not just the cleansing. It's getting out actual parasites. I hate to say that word, but we are holding parasites.
Are you talking about like Morgellons, like nanoparticulates?
So listen, there are parasites in the body, Morgellons, that my buddy has a thing where you can put your fingers in these things and a frequency kills the parasites within 20 minutes in you, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, they have another frequency that can replicate. Yes.
Yeah, my attackers they'll do that to me in certain parts of my body where I'll get like what's athlete's foot, because they're microwaving it. They're using microwaves to increase the bacteria. Like so I have to bathe very frequently to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right. But
and I hate bathing.
Look, I can tell you I had a shutdown thyroid, so if anyone's, look, I was 70 pounds heavier than I am. 70. I should have been taking every medication. I had blood pressure. It was insane. And, but it did take supplements as well. And it all had to do with cortisol. And it all had to do with testosterone ratio balance, progesterone, things that will naturally help your body get into a state of fighting bacteria. And especially in the gut. Kyle, you know, I hear him say taking a probiotic is probably, that's probably actually the best thing to take as a DI. You know,
It helps so much. It's improved my mood a lot.
right,
In my like
right.
it's decreased inflammation, and I think it's made just everything in my body, work better. So I'd really recommend a probiotic,
Well,
especially for me because
yeah,
I have Crohn's. So my
yeah.
my colon's all messed up. So especially for me, it did.
Oh, Kyle,
Yeah.
hold on 1 second, bro. My phone is, hold on.
Is it running out of batteries?
Oh, it's,
We
oh,
can continue this another time, man. We
listen,
can just
it's actually,
continue.
bro, it's at 2%. It's about to go right now.
Okay, man. Well, thank you for coming on. That's really important information. And guys, we're going to find a way to get everybody these documents,
Yes.
the predictive policing thing, the DHLP identifier too. But thank you for coming,
Hey,
Jeff,
hey,
man.
I love you. I love everyone here. And any
Love you,
questions,
brother.
feel free to, you know, I would love to try to help anybody I can. So, I'm glad I'm back, you know, around the community. Love you guys, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Hey, thank you, Jeff.
All
We
right.
did
Thank
it.
you. Love you,
We
buddy.
got the live stream together. Love you too, brother.
All
Take
right. See
care.
you, man.
We'll talk soon, man.
All right.
That was great. That's a very important story about the city, my mom, and see what they have on file for me, you know. But let me go back to real quick. That was great. That was great that Jeff came on. And maybe we should do that. I guess people really like that. So if any of you other guys want to just come on and do that, you got something important that you want to show, or you just want to talk about your targeting. I guess I'm feeling well enough where you could schedule that. Joshua says, "Wow, I need to read what diverticulosis." And remember, Jeff recommended that Emodin for it stops cortisol levels. So let me go ahead. Let me do this. And I wanted to read a little bit more of that article real quick. This is interesting. I kind of wanted to talk about this with Jeff, but so Samsonite says the chiropractor on Neil's call said the tinnitus is coming from the C1 vertebrae between the brainstem and the spine. She shields that and it stops. That's weird because we were talking about how like my attackers hit me a lot on the back of the neck, and a lot of other people's do too, and they'll be doing that. It feels like they're hitting me on the back of the neck and it's heating up, and I'm getting really bad tinnitus too. So where that on the upper neck? Do we block the upper neck? That's really interesting. That they may hit that nerve carries it up to the inner ears, you know. But I don't know if that's the only way because I know that microwave hearing, if they're doing microwave hearing like the V2K, that can cause the tinnitus. It's like your brain is interacting with the electromagnetic radiation, right? Sure about that. Diverticulitis. Okay, so it's between the skull and the neck. It's like right here. It's like way up here. I'm going to try covering that and seeing what happens. My extraterrestrial life says I had the upper neck back pain and inner hand itching. Yeah, no whining says intestines, junk collects in the pockets, and inflammation and infection can result. I'm telling y'all, taking these probiotics is just like I just feel a lot. I feel more energy. I feel my mood's better. The targeting still sucks. The V2K is still kind of at the same level. But I'm able to, when they do the memory thing, I'm able to kind of catch it a little bit. I'm kind of building that back up, building my brain back up. We got to try that. We've got to block the area between the skull and the neck. So we got to try and get some passive shielding or copper, uh, mu metal, or anything, and try and cover that spot. So I guess let me. this article right here. I just want to read a little bit more of it. Okay. It's amazing how it's like they're framing this as this sheriff just decided to do it on his own, but he's going along with DHS fusion centers and InfraGard in doing this community watch. So the Pasco office, in its lengthier statement, said the program is modeled after one adopted in the United Kingdom in the 1990s. That's a lie. And that the idea is not to target anyone with harassment. That's a lie. It is the goal of the Pasco Sheriff's Office to have a positive impact on these individuals and our community, the statement says. The Sheriff's statement specifically mentions a 2002 film, Minority Report, which starred Tom Cruise as a chief of pre-crime police bureau that arrests people before any crime is provided by psychics. But the deal is, it's even worse than predictive policing. It's worse than pre-crime. They're microwaving us, they're harassing us, they're saying, oh, this person might be dangerous and commit a crime, but then they're trying to make us commit a crime. Even if it's like, I don't know, like, I mean, like you're being targeted and you're in so much pain that maybe you're drinking and you go out, you go out and do something stupid, or like you're like, oh, well, maybe I need to smoke it, to feel better, and then that's a crime, right? So they're trying to put you in a situation where even those small things, they can add those things up and do what Bill Binney calls construction, right? Parallel construction. So they're trying to create crimes, like even though they are targeting us, then they try and just create crimes, just make up crimes and then put it in our file, Look at this. Other jurisdictions have tackled similar issues. The Los Angeles Police Department, for example, last year scrapped for financial reasons a controversial program, Pred poll, that sought to predict where property crimes would occur. Critics said it focused disproportionately on Black and Hispanic communities. And I think if BLM was really cared about the well-being of Black men and women, there's so many Black men and women who are targeted and microwaved every day, but nobody seems to be talking about that. I mean, this just has to stop. It's not like one organization needs to be talking about it. Like the whole world needs to be talking about this stuff. All right, guys. So we've been going for about 2.5 hours. I guess I'll go ahead and end the stream. Did anybody have anything else? Artist of Ellian says pre-crime thought police, i.e. Minority Report. Yeah, thought police. Dark Winter says great. An article saying we're not the bad guys. Yes, you are. Yeah. It's for the good of the community, and it's for the good of these people who haven't committed any crimes. They had a certain type of mustache or beard, and we just knew. We just saw the look in their eyes. We saw. This one person was like looking at a car that wasn't theirs and seemed very interested in pre-crime. They're going to do a crime, right? Okay, guys, I think I'll go ahead and end the stream. Donna says, where are you both located? I'm in Louisiana. I'm in Baton Rouge. And Jeff is, I'm not sure where Jeff is. Jeff is in Boston. He went to California. And I'm not sure where he is now. I don't know. He can tell you though if you email him. He'll help any of you guys out. He can send you those documents. True Kism says, "Hey, Colin, just got in. What did I miss in a nutshell?" True Kism, just go because it's an interview with Jeff about his kind of run-in with the city police. Him and his dad went, and he got a lot of evidence about what they were just putting in his files. And it's about that leak. It's about the DHS Fusion Center leak, which I think we're going to try and figure out a way to put that out like on a post. I'll post it or something like that, or find some way to just maybe we can post it on Twitter. Like I can put it on my Twitter account or something like that. Just go back and watch it, man. Thank you, Christina. Love you too. Judge Yu says, how does Building 7 fit community policing? I'll tell you how Building 7 fits in with everything, because they did that. Then they have and then they start taking away all of our rights, and then they're like, oh well, for national security, we're gonna have to torture, because we don't want any more terrorists coming and blowing up buildings. We're gonna have to start surveilling them, right? Which is interesting. It's interesting how Snowden talked about PRISM and all those things where they were like surveillance trees, right? Well, it's like they just took those surveillance programs and then they mashed them with community policing, gang stalking programs, and remote microwave experimentation and torture. It's like they already had the surveillance programs set up. It's like they just made them fit better into these remote microwaving programs. Because the remote microwaving experimentation, I think, has been going on since like 1952 or something like that in America. In America, I'm not sure about other countries, but then it's like they get all these other surveillance programs and stuff, and then they start mushing them so that they all work together, but with different levels of knowledge, right? This compartmentalization. And what I see, and especially from Jeff's interaction with the city police, is I see that compartmentalization is like the silos are breaking, right? The silos are breaking and things are becoming compartmentalized. This is great for us because good people who maybe would shut their mouths about it or didn't know enough about it to really, come out, we may be seeing them come out of the woodwork. So much stuff is going on. The dam is bursting. The dam has holes in it and water's gushing out, but there's just some wall left that we got to break down so that the torture can stop. No Whining says, we'll be exposing corrupt cops at my channel. They can wonder, are my lights on or off? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. Trevor said, can you remember how Google or pre-YouTube? Well, when I got targeted, YouTube was around, So I told you all this before, but the way that I figured it out, I had ringing in my ears, right? And I was like, oh, my neighbor has some kind of device that he's aiming at my. It's making me have a high-pitched sound. So I went to a Radio Shack. The first thing I did is not the first thing I did, but when I was really trying to figure it was, I went to a Radio Shack and I started asking them about this device called the Mosquito, because like I looked it up on YouTube and it's this device that they put out in the parking lots of shopping centers, like mostly in the UK, and it chases away younger kids because it's like a frequency that you kind of lose the hear when you get to a certain age, like in your upper 20s. And so like I started off with thinking it was the Mosquito, this device that they used in the UK, and I was like, these guys on the side of me, they just they tried to get creative with their trying to get me out of there and got this Mosquito. But then that led me to like, well, I moved and I really couldn't figure it out. I was like, oh, it must be some kind of electronic warfare device that's maybe not the Mosquito, but something kind of like that. And then I went on the internet and I looked up, what did I look up? It was like high-pitched sound, right? And then I put in like tinnitus, because I was hearing a lot about tinnitus. It felt like tinnitus. My parents had said that. Put high-pitched tinnitus sound in the Google search, and then like the third one down was Timothy Trespass. An individual that I saw talking about this, and he was playing like a high-pitched sound on the video, kind of like they did for the Cuban embassy attack, where they were like, this is kind of sounds like. And it was Timothy Trespass, and he was the first targeted individual I ever saw. And I think the second targeted individual that I watched was which, if you go back to you go back to William the Bastard's old videos, he's got like 20,000 views on some of those videos. And when I was he was talking about remote neural manipulation, remote neural monitoring, invisible light, photonic energy. And I thought he had lost his mind. Just shooting sounds and stuff like that. This guy's talking about like photonic energy and remote neural manipulation. I thought that he was going way too far, right? Like now that I've gone through it a long time, I'm like, wow, he was exactly right. William the Bastard, I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's in jail or if he was killed. Because if he was pretty young, and I don't think he, I don't know if he's in jail or if he was killed. If anybody has any information on William the Bastard, I'd like to thank that man. I'd like to write him a letter. Yeah. So Joshua says, name some devices I can buy, please. You go to my playlist. I would say if any of you guys you're experiencing remote neural manipulation, like the pain in your nervous system, the high pitched sound, headaches, things that you're like, wow, they're doing something to my brain to create pain in my body, right? Get the noise canceling hearing aids. Use Dave Case's CD at antitinnitusv2k.com. Those things will change your life. It will change the intensity of all this. Audio. Thank you so much. Yeah, get Dave Case's CD and that, and then it's like grounding is like I would say, but just please go into my go into my playlist, and some of those are long live streams. Is I'm gonna figure out. I don't have to figure it out, but I'm gonna make some short videos on every one of the defenses and put it in the playlist. Just video, not where it'll get lost in a live stream. Put it in a short video, and then I'll have all those different types of defenses, how they work, where I would rate them, stuff coming up. The thing that I haven't got that I really want to try is the ionizing foot bath. That's like, I think it's like $100 and something, so I'm able to pull that off. Then you got the brain entrainment device that's like $300, which I don't know when I'm going to be able to get that, but there's a couple of things. And then there was some what's it called? Fusion? I thought I had it written down. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's not the Tempest filter. I've got to check. Fusion. Y'all remember that? What I was talking about? In the shielding, this is from lambs.com. And I put 2 on, and it really helps. Like I can kind of feel the heat against it, but it really does block. And the thing is, it blocks 5G, so it's blocking everything from 1G to 5G. I can't remember what that other thing was called. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a device. It's literally a device that you can buy, and it's pretty cheap, and it's coming out soon, and it can record your brain activity, so you can see your own brain activity. If we do that, the evidence of remote neural manipulation or our attackers will have to stop so that we don't get evidence. We can record our own brain activity. So there's coming out, right, that not only will do certain frequencies to the brain and stuff, but things where we can record our own brain activity and record it, like if they do something with remote neural manipulation, like say you're just sitting here watching TV, your brain activity is just at a certain state and you're recording that. Then your attackers do something with remote neural manipulation where you don't have any outside stimuli to create that in your brain, right? But I can't remember that it was so important, and I can't believe it. It's like fusion, or I wish somebody could remember what that is, but we got to go over that because that's going to be a huge thing. Like the thing where you can record your own brain activity. Once that comes out, it's like, man, we'll be able. It'll deter them, or we'll get evidence, or we'll just get evidence, and then that stuff we can bring into court. Stuff we can bring into court, send to the UN, send to. There's so many big things going on. Colonel, what's it called, DePlume? Colonel is coming out with those. What's it called, though? Is it like fusion or something? Okay, shared a link in regard to the Texas Roadhouse owner who took his own life due to severe tinnitus. Okay, otherwise, I'll try and do a video on that. Because there's just so many people being targeted all around the world, and there's so many incidents of things like where people are killing themselves, or they're killing people, or it's like agents for any governments, right? Like we're hearing a lot of stuff about our CIA agents being hit and stuff like that. And then in other countries, I'm sure they have news stories, and they're blaming America for hitting their agents over here with the stuff, right? So it's just everybody's getting attacked and hit with this stuff. Okay, Judge Judy said, Kyle email about the Chinese citizens. There's a video and an article. Let me go check, Judge G. I'm not good about checking my emails all the time, but I'll go look for that. Queen Esther says they are making trillions off of the data from our brains. Obama brain program. Yeah, the Obama brain initiative, it didn't create this. Like, it didn't start the targeting on American citizens, but it put more money towards it. It put more money in what expanded the program significantly. And they've done things like that in the UK. Like James Darno went to the UK to work on a brain initiative, right? When Obama said the brain initiative, it was like targeting people and mapping the brain and torturing, right? So they like James Darno went to work on something like that in the UK. He's probably working on stuff, doing stuff to us. I don't want to say that because like I may need to talk to him, so I'm not sure. He said, okay, yeah, that's it. DePlume says it's called Flux, and the device you can pre-order. It hasn't come out yet, but it records your brain activity. Think about that, because if you're doing something like we could use that device when you're just sitting there doing nothing. And your brain activity would just be normal, right? But with the remote neural manipulation, it's going to be showing off that they're affecting parts of your brain. That's like some awesome evidence that's coming out. And there's going to be a million more things even better than that. So guys, hang on, you know. Yeah, Marcus says a warm hot bath shields against dew and rejuvenates the body. Yeah, I always feel a lot better, cleansed when I take a bath. Yeah, Tanya says, yes, they are on all TIs around the world making billions of dollars. Biomedical. Mm-hmm. Hey, Alan says, spray paint at Fusion, no to targeting. They saw me do it. I was it risky. Oh, on a Fusion Center? Yeah, don't do that. That's a federal building. Don't do anything to a federal building, because it's like if you spray paint like on the side of the road, it's like, oh man, you're loitering or whatever they call that. But if you do anything to a federal building, it's a lot more serious. I need to watch that. Trevor says Stranger Things was a documentary, and I saw like the first couple of episodes, but I was like, oh, there's a big monster, and then she has telepathy. This doesn't really, I don't know, you know. I'm not as interested in movies as I used to be, because my attention span's so bad. It's like with the video games, it's like a movie you can play. You can actually play the movie. True Kism says, I know for a fact it's near the end. That's awesome, man. Yeah, True Kism says, almost over. Lots of people working on this. We got the main guy, the #1 sheriff of torture, right? The guy in the UN, that his job is to stop torture in every country. Unjustified torture. All torture is unjustified. He knows about this. He's got our testimonies. More people are sending in those questionnaires, which I'm going to fill out my questionnaire and we'll go through it on a live stream or something. So much information. Please send me an email if you got some important information, or if you have my number, text me. And we just got to flood it out there. At this point, it's so dumb because the Cuban embassy workers, they're saying they were hit with microwaves. If we say that we were hit with microwaves, we're human beings too. I don't care that they work for the government. I'm a human being just like them. So are just as important as their claims, because we're being experimented on, operational and experiment, right? They got hit in Cuba because they were posing as embassy. Some of them were posing as embassy workers, but they were really CIA agents. It doesn't matter the situation that you get targeted in. People cannot straw man out of the, oh, well, you're just a regular guy. I could see why government workers would be. No, they're going to hit regular people first. Use logic, because people want to use anti-logic and say, why would they hit normal people? I can see why they hit movie stars and politicians. No. They hit a bunch of normal people because normal people don't have as much influence, right? We don't have as much help, and we don't have as much of a platform. We have to create forms, right, when this happens to us. Jack says, I'd rather work for the UN. I mean, they're corrupt. Like, all these agencies that are corrupt. Yeah, DePlume says more sample data. Yeah. Yeah. No whining says, meaning we are treated like a sports event. Well, every dog has its day. I will not need to break the law to address this. Address this I will over 3 decades. Yeah. We're not at the, we should never break the law, I guess, but we do need to be like really assertive, and we need to be really creative. And I think we even need to get creative to the point where it's like, maybe that's civil disobedience, but it's not against the law, right? We need to be thinking of those things, and not in a violent way, but just like things where we get our point across, right? Like, I mean, even for I'm thinking this is just a thought. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this is the biggest number of people I've got. It's a good time, and Jeff was on. Like, somebody else was, so it's not just me blabbing. And it was like the prime time. This is amazing. 70, 50 is the highest I've gone, and I think 60 one time. But thank you guys for coming. I love you guys, and I hope y'all are like, just hanging in there. There's more stuff. There's way better stuff in defense coming around, with the lead cap and Dave Case CD and the grounding, and especially the probiotics are really good. Hey, Laura says, I when we die, us nobodies will be easy to dismiss. Oh yeah, when we die, us nobodies will be easy to dismiss. To our, not to our loved ones and like our friends and stuff like that. But it's if you're not like famous, then no doesn't pay attention, right? So it's like, check this out, y'all. So y'all heard about, was it the president of Tanzania? Right? I need to do a video about it right now because we've hit 3 hours. But I'm definitely gonna do a video or a live stream on that incident where the president, I think it was Tanzania, who would not go along with the coronavirus. He was like, it's a fake thing, and we're not gonna do the restrictions. Died of a heart attack, and they're gonna replace him, right? He's like one of the only places in the world that wasn't cooperating with all the coronavirus stuff. The one that I got, it's Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics, and it has like 60 in there. It has like, take one a day. Dr. Ohhira's, he said this is the most detailed. Like, Dr. Ohhira studied microbials in college for years and years and years, and he says this is the best like variety blend for just everything, for the body, your brain, your endocrine system, pain, mood, everything like that. So it's Dr. Ohhira's. But what I would do if I were y'all, if you have a health food store in your area, go in and like talk to somebody in the health food store and be like, I have a lot of pain. I want my brain better. What type of probiotics can I get for that? And if not, if you don't talk to them, I would get these. It's floss. It's floss right there. I would get these Dr. Ohhira probiotics. So David says, Chobani yogurt is good products too. Yeah, yogurt too. And hey, Dave, I haven't seen you in forever. Toxic Avenger says, is it expensive? I think it was like $30, maybe $20 or $30. $20. I think it was $20 for a month supply. And then I found a place like the gas station I go to has Kratom, like 120 capsules for like $20, and I've been buying them for way more. Nice. Prion disease. Okay, so Tanya said, how do you spell, please? Dr. So Dr. OHHIRAS probiotics. Yeah, they work. You might have some like a little transition where things are a little bit different in your digestive system, but it like, just the mood, just feeling sturdier, right? Feel sturdier after so many years of torture. is really good. And we got to use all these things together to really get some relief, you know. Wait, who did? Trukism says no, he suddenly stopped streaming and cut contact with everyone. Who did? Thank you, Trevor. Oh, Steven Stacy's not doing live streams anymore. I hope he's doing okay. Seems like a lot of people kind of it's just a lot. You guys need to understand that it's a lot when you're targeted and you get up on YouTube, and then there's a lot of people. You know, you become a hub, right? So I become a hub when I was moderating calls and doing videos for years and years, and then some targeted individuals, like, they'll get in contact with me and we'll be texting, and then they'll kind of like leave the live and go off and do other stuff, but they still text me. Then new target individuals come into the live stream, and then they're texting me and emailing me too, and it's like I stay I stay doing it, but then there's all these new targets, and it just builds, and I kind of like that live stream where I kind of lost it, like I lost it, but I was a little bit pissed off, and I was like, I'm not a call center, but I don't like saying that stuff because I like talking to a lot of you guys. I like talking to all of you guys. It's just it gets to be a lot. It gets to be a lot, and then what I wish that these guys, women who leave because it gets to be a lot, or maybe they're getting targeted harder, you know, while they're doing it, right? And it's that, like, you're their point of contact, like, and I wish that was a little bit different. I mean, the people that I talk to don't get it wrong. I love talking to y'all, all my friends and stuff like that. That's why I hate saying stuff like this, but it just gets to be like, well, I kind of want to talk to people every once in a while and then do my videos and help people out, but it gets was responding in the way that would make people happy. I would be texting and on the phone all day long every day, right? I want to do that, and I am a people pleaser. Like, I'm a codependent person who's trying to that's changing a lot. But I was it's like this. This world is very evil because the way that I was conditioned to be, and that my parents want me to be, and that I just developed as throughout my whole life, right, is very empathetic. Very empathetic, very, giving people a lot back, right? And that was in a world that seemed sane. And it was a good way to be very polite, to be this guy you can be, right? And I'm not saying that any of that's you need to be more of that in this dark world, but you get reamed for it sometimes. Like, you get walked like that. It's like, it's very sad to see that these ways that were right, the way to be empathetic and right stuff, it can get you in a lot of trouble in this dark world, right? There's some people that it's very good with. They're also empathetic and stuff like that. But then there's, like, gang stalkers. There's gang stalkers and criminals, and it's like, see people who are nice, like, who are kind and want to help people. They see us as buffoons, like people who are pass and stuff. They see us as very stupid, like nice people. They're like, why would he, he's just trying to smooth things over people. And I just don't see it that way. Yeah, Laura says, I completely understand, God. That's the right way to be raised, to be super empathetic, right? That makes the world good. But when other people give and you give, and then it builds up, but the world is so traumatic and dark, right, and dark, that it's like creating a lot of cynicism and nihilism. Then you take a look at this, right? Because we're on YouTube. Are we on YouTube? You look at YouTube now, you see these influencers, like this Penguin Zero. He's a cynical guy who's like, everything that's outside of, like, I'm cynical and nothing ever out of the ordinary happens, and if it does, it's a theory. Millions of subscribers, like these in the transsexual ones and everything like that, and they're all very cynical and secular and stuff, and this is getting into kids' heads, right? We're going to have a society where people are judged differently, not because nice people won't be anymore if this keeps going on, right? If this keeps going on. I don't know. It's kind of just blabbing, you know. So DePlume says, when did Jeffo file case? I forgot to ask. I'm not sure when he went in. It seems like in the last couple of weeks he did that. I'll have to ask him. I'm not sure. But that's a good interaction. Like, that's an interaction where it's like he wasn't in danger of being put in the mental institution or anything like that. But a big part of that is his dad going in with him. Sleeping Beauty says, I always thought the term codependent is used to label normal good people with something from the DSM. Yeah, codependent. It's like a normal person, but it's you're codependent. You're you know, I'm getting off of this, but like I was raised to react to how people see me, right? Like too much, because it always worked, right? I was always awesome and had a lot of energy and very smart, so I developed with the way that people saw me is really affecting me because it was positive. It was always positive, right? Always conditioned throughout, you know, 30 years to be like, oh, that person feels this way about me. Oh, I feel more like that way, right? And it's not like I'm or anything. I have my own personality, but it really affects my emotions. Like if somebody doesn't like me or is mean to me or something like that, and I'm right through the targeting and everything. It's almost like with my attackers, I expect it, and it doesn't hurt my feelings because I know what they're trying to do. But like it's with people in my life, when like my family or something like that, or friends, when they are like seeing me as bad, something like I feel more like that way. I think some people aren't like that. They're not affected by what people think at all. But it's not just that I care about what people. Now people, oh, you care about too much about what people think. I was raised like that because I was so awesome that people saw me as very awesome. It was all the time. But now with the gang stalking, with the targeting and everything like that, it's become kind of a negative sometimes. And you've got to, like, I know there's a lot of guys who understand exactly what I'm saying. We have got to develop and adapt, never become uncompassionate or anything like that, or non-empathetic. We've got to build some barriers in ourselves, right? And we've got to demand some barriers sometimes, you know. You know, that's one thing that it's like it's the right way to raise a child, to be empathetic, to kind of, you know, not base them to, oh, what everything. It's not like that, but it's a conditioning thing. When people think you're awesome, that's how you're like, oh man, I'm awesome, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you don't even think about that. Completely flips. And then you've got strangers who hate you and they don't even know you, right? And so then it's like, whoa, 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 I'm taking that. They think I'm a loser, mentally ill, and it's like, logically I know I'm not, right? Logically it's like, no, like I'm cool, I'm smart, I didn't do anything, fighting this target, I'm helping people, but emotionally, a part of me that can't help it, you know. So stuff like that. True Kism says Kyle's an American hero and should be given the Medal of Honor. He should be known for urgent care for others. Perhaps a statue once. What are you talking about, True Kism? Dude, everybody should be doing what I'm doing. I appreciate the positive sentiment, True Kism, but the deal is, with how much darkness we have in the world, we must all be heroes. Like don't pick a leader. You know, there are certain people that can lead and stuff, and they have good strategy and stuff like that. But I think all that needs to be changed. With how dangerous the world is, and I don't think it's possible. I think human beings, they go to a strong leader figure, and you know most, and then they're, you know, leaders who don't listen to anybody. But it's like, really, if we want to survive this dangerous dark world, everybody has to start being their own leader, and you just, you know, pick up examples from other people. The biggest thing that I would love that y'all would be paying me back for doing these videos, or, you know, all the stuff I've done, you know, while I was targeted and everything, is just pass it on. You know, strengthen yourself with the knowledge, strengthen yourself with the defenses. Maybe you can to communicate this. It may not be a YouTube channel. I just like to say though, you can make an anonymous YouTube channel and even like do things to change your voice and stuff like that. But just pass it on, you know. I kind of get uncomfortable with the you know, like you're a hero and stuff. My thing is like we should all be, you know, taking action. This is it's such a serious situation with our world, and like as targeted individuals, and there's so many millions around the world. This is like a small. I mean, it's the biggest thing in all of this, but there's so many other things going on that are killing people, right? This is my thinking. Yeah, Judge Judy says tear down the Statue of Liberty and erect a statue of Kyle, and I better be wearing a dress. Did it? I forgot what I was about to say. I forgot what I was saying. I was pointing. I was saying something. I was like, it was something really important though. I can't remember, guys. That's so bad that memory stuff has gotten to where they can disappear memory, and I can't get it back. Yeah, exactly. Laura says, really well said. Keep learning and pass it on and become your own leader because our authority figures are corrupt. We live in a mafia world now, and there's people that they're just going to keep their position and keep their pay, and they'll do anything to anybody that's bad to protect themselves or their families or whatever. It's really, really bad for human beings. So like what I see in the targeted individual community, like I was just a normal targeted individual. I didn't have a lot of money or anything like that, or I didn't have any money actually. And you know, start the channel, and that's what a lot of other targeted individuals are doing. But then I see sometimes where it's like, and this is understandable, that targeted individuals are like, okay, I need to call Ella to get help from her, right? I need to call something to get help. But really, what you need to be doing when you call people is say, how can I help you? Can I join in? How can I help the cause, right? So that's what we need to be doing, because I understand it, not judging it, because we need help, right? But the way that it's working, the way that things are going, it's better for you and it's better for everyone if when you're like trying to get help, where you're like, what can I do, right? And it doesn't, you're so targeted and in pain, so it doesn't make sense, right? But it really works better that way, you know. I don't know if I explained that right. Thank you, Stay. I appreciate that. It really, I get red in the face when y'all start saying stuff like that. Jeff did a great job. The highest number on my live. That's great. Did a great. It's really important, and he's really like working on the. I think he's right. It's like for him, it's like going and you know, trying to get the lawsuit going on the cam footage and everything, and then maybe in the city police or the sheriff's department or going to the FBI. Like, we got to have people doing those things, and then we got to have people doing you know, sending in stuff to and then we've got the big thing we got to figure out. We have time on this, which is bad. We need to be figuring out something pretty creative for Senate investigation. Like if Congress gets together and has people talk, like the Cuban embassy workers talk on, like, to the Senate investigation team, right? We may need to go to Washington or something like that. Like we need to do something around those events, right? And I want to make a obviously not violence, but some type of activism, throwing our hat in the ring, right? Like I said on one of my videos, they're doing an investigation. We can help them out because we've been being hit by this stuff. And this is not a world where, like, I know they want to say, oh, you guys are just normal citizens, you're worth crap, and we're going to take care of these governmental workers, we're really worried about them, but you people are mentally ill. That's what they're trying to do. But none of us will stand for that. We are human beings. We've gone through torture for way more time than the embassy workers have, and we deserve medical care, and we deserve for this to be stopped. We deserve justice. You know, we've come so far. We've come so far. Just a little bit further to go, I think. And it's like I can't guarantee the program is going to end, but there's logical zero percent probability of like nothing coming, right? Of all those things, there's 0% probability of our situation changing for the better. So grab some, stackable defenses and things like that, especially focusing on Dave Case CD and, and the noise canceling hearing aids. Noise canceling hearing aids are $140, but they're going to be worth like $5,000 to you. I was $250 for QA defenders and $140. Says I've reported being raped and electronically attacked so many times to the FBI already in crickets. Yeah. Well, I called the FBI and I put it. No, I just made a video about it, but he said that it was not in their jurisdiction. I might call them again. I might call the FBI tomorrow and just see if their tune is changing. Things are changing, right? So while the landscape is changing, what Jeff's interactions showed us is that things are changing, right? And that we've got to kind of poke in. Now we can't just run it. We can't run in like without a plan, without safeguarding ourselves, right? You don't want to just go into the police screaming that you're being targeted. You probably will be put into a behavioral center, a mental place. But if we do it the right way, and certain people who are pretty effective at speaking do it the right way, then it can maybe help those that maybe don't want to do that, right? So I wouldn't say everybody needs to go into the police and try and get information and tell them about stuff, but I think I will. I think with my mom, I'm going to do that, and then I want her, this stuff that's happening. No, Trukism. No, I don't want that. Trukism, I'm not that, man. I am one target individual, and guys, let me just be honest with you. I've been doing this since 2014 or 2013. So hard sometimes that I'm like, I can't make videos anymore. And I'm always going to be doing something. I'll always do something. I'll never quit. We need new blood. Like we do. We need you guys that have maybe been targeted for like 2 years or 3 years, and you're feeling strong and you're feeling like justice in your heart. You're not worn out, right? We need y'all stepping up. And then really need to do, because it takes a long time, right? Somebody was saying it in chat. It took from 2013 or 2014 till now to just 1,500 subscribers, right, on a TI channel. They don't share my videos on this platform, right? But we can do it our own way, If some other TI channels would cooperate, like if somebody's really excited about doing live streams, or you really want to do interviews, or you really want to just get a recording, like a screen recorder, and just go through articles, not even show your face. You just pull up the article, make a YouTube video, and not even show your face. And I could promote your channel, right? It doesn't work as well as I would have thought it would. Like even going over to DLive, I had like 7 to 10 over there. And then it's like I'll recommend other people's channel. Like go show them love, because they're helping me out. They're helping all of us out. Go to their channel live, and it doesn't seem to work. We should really, and myself, like when a targeted individual is making videos, I need to make sure to thumbs up. I need to make sure to subscribe. I need to make sure to do all that. We need to do that. I think so much big stuff's going on there. What's going to happen is you're going to get these, cyber torture, and then the stuff about the Cuban embassy and the Senate investigation. That people on YouTube, truthers that aren't even targeted individuals, are going to start reporting on that stuff. So then it's going to be a big thing. I definitely do not want to be the face of. I'm a Pisces, and I'm an artist, and all my life I've been able to be silly and artistic and weird, and I really and funny, like Tim and Eric show funny, where it's like you do silly stuff and people don't think, oh, he's crazy. They think, oh, he's healthy and he's doing weird stuff, right? That's really kind of, and I want to write, and I don't, because I like talking about crazy, and it's like when you're a target, when you're a targeted individual, it's like we have to be like, okay, we're talking about this at a real ground level, right? Even talking about the remote neural manipulation, you gotta be careful. You can't talk about aliens or theorize too much about stuff. And so I'd like some. I always plan that in 2018. Yeah, because it was about 5 years, right? 5 years from when I started, I always planned to stop doing it. I said there are going to be enough people like me talking about the contractors, talking about how it's the military-industrial complex, talking about the remote neural manipulation, talking about talking about Robert Duncan, talking about Dr. James Adorno, talking about John Hall, talking about all this stuff, right? I'm like, dude, after 5 years doing this thing's just going to. But the problem is that, and I get this because this is very hard. It's like so taxing on the body and the spirit and everything. Targeted individuals are very worried that their torture is going to ramp up if they do this, and they're also worried about gaslighting themselves, right, in normal society, because you put videos out like this, and then it's like a normal person that you have to deal with out in society is like, oh, well, we're making these videos. So and I think a lot of people are like, what's a little YouTube channel going to do? They can control all that information, So it's made a lot of people, like a lot of target individuals, will just kind of leave, or target individuals won't even speak out. It's weird because in the short term, that's a smart move. I'm being very honest. In the short term for your targeting, not doing videos and speaking out is probably a good idea because you won't experience as much blowback from your microwave attackers and gang stalkers. In the long run, the long term of your life, this is your life, right? This is still your life. It's a good idea because eventually your gang stalkers are going to get wind of your YouTube videos. If you make a lot, they're going to go, oh, this is what was happening. They off a little bit, right? Your attackers are going to torture you more. Your microwave attackers are going to do way more bad stuff, but you will feel like I'm not just taking this, I'm doing something with it, right? Anything that we get in our life, we've got to get with God, right? We've got to just reach toward and say, help me to do something with this. I can't do anything with this. They're just murdering me all the time. And God will help you to do something with this. God will provide. I trust God no matter what, and it's just the way that I was raised. And it's been bad. I can't even figure out in my mind, how much pain and torture. It's like, God, how'd you let me go through this, right? But it wasn't Him. It wasn't. There's freedom in humanity and life in this universe and whatever. There's freedom, and that's a part of life, and that's how God made it, right? When people that are evil decide to use their freedom for bad stuff, it's not really on God because that's how He kind of created things. I'm not saying that He's empowers evil or anything, but the freedom of people to do good or evil. Erica Nario says call and record it. Dude, I thought about like calling the State Department and just putting it on, getting it on my screen recorder, right? And I've thought about calling, I don't think I put the FBI phone call on my channel, but I've been thinking about calling different places and then putting it on, but I'm not sure about the legal ramifications of that. Lynette says, I wonder since I have video evidence of my targeting of the unusual loud construction noises around and around my can be enough evidence for the police to take it seriously. You may need to stack it with like other evidence, Lynette. Get that on construction's going on around the clock, but I feel like that they could just say, oh, they had to do construction there, and that's not really, that's not harassment. It has to happen. So I feel like maybe if you get vehicular harassment, I don't know. I've got a I want I already forgot it. They're making, dude. That is so my attackers because that's like that's been on my mind since I heard it. And who recommended that? I want to say Godspeed. I want to say Godspeed. Whoever recommended the flux thing, because that's everything. That changes everything, guys. That changes everything. We can record our brain activity in real time. And this is a device that came out of all this torture. All the targeted individuals that have been tortured, in every country. Devices like these come out of that. So we can use these things that are coming out of our torture to defend against it, to get evidence, right? That's what's coming. That's what's here. That's what's, So. Oh, really? Sleeping Beauty says, I gave my local PD a copy of Dr. John Hall's book, Guinea Pigs, Technologies of Control. Yeah, okay. DePlume says, I think Joshua recommended it. Okay. Joshua, you're awesome. If it was somebody else, you're awesome. But Joshua, if you recommended it, you're awesome. Very good recommendation. I'm going to be doing a video on that and just talking about it, like what it can do for us. Because I think maybe some of y'all are like, oh, it can record our brain activity. Dude, that's so much evidence. You can make it so that looking at a wall and your brain activity you're going to have brain activity, right? But it's going to be stable brain activity. And then when they do something with remote neural manipulation, pain, and you're just sitting there looking at a wall, that thing's going to record it. That thing's going to record your brain, and you can like record it and have it on tape. File. So it's not even just that. It's not even just flux. It's that we're going to have a downpour of these consumer technologies and medical technologies and everything to fight against this with. That's why the Pentagon and the CIA are like, yeah, we'll lead up the investigation on the Cuban embassy attack, because they're trying to weasel and to come out to the public, but in the weaselly way they want, with the narrative that they want, right? And maybe even excluding us completely. I don't think so. But maybe. I don't think they will not be able to exclude us. Hugh, what? That's weird, man. That's why y'all are doing that. That makes me uncomfortable a little bit. I don't like that. Like Lynette says, Kyle, thank you so much for giving your feedback and help. I have also witnessed and seen microwave beams being shot out through my bedroom and bathroom wall. Do you see them in like a certain kind of daytime, like in the afternoon? Do you see them? I know if you get by the window and there's a lot of dust, and it's like in the evening, it's like that, what they call in film the magic hour or something like that, that maybe you can see a stream of energy coming in. They might be actually using lasers with some of you guys. I've never had a laser hit me, but I know that they are experimenting with lasers. Yeah, Toxic Avenger. Record your brain while you sleep. Yeah. Yes. This Flux. Everybody write that down. Flux. By, and I can't remember, by Colonel Flux. Colonel Flux. And you can pre-order it. It hasn't come out yet. And I mean, you think about it. Think about all these VR devices where it's like reading your brain activity or whatever. Like, you can probably put on some of these consumer devices, and they will hell out of the remote neural manipulation. Because if you have a headset, right, that's reading your neural activity from your occipital lobe, right, it's doing frequencies back and forth. Your attackers are also trying to do something to your visual cortex. It can just interfere with everything they're doing. These things coming up are so... Excuse me. Good night, Gina. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. The Pentagon is going to watch to control the narrative their way. Yeah, the CIA and the Pentagon. The CIA and the Pentagon jumped in right when old Joe got elected. Hey, we want to figure this out, right? And we all know, right? The Pentagon and the CIA know everything about these weapons. They use them for citizens, and overseas they plan the manufacturing and the experimental programs, and the Air Force Research Lab puts out millions, hundreds of millions, I don't know if it's hundreds of millions, but tens of millions of dollar contracts for human experimentation. Involuntary. Am I yelling? Am I yelling right now? I get excited. I get a little bit animated, right? get a little bit animated. I'm excited. We've got a lot of hopeful things coming, and we've got to think positive. I know this stuff sucks. Like, it sucks so much. I'm so depressed sometimes, and just like I can't do anything hardly. But God will bring us justice. God will give us justice. Like, I mean, there will be justice in this life or the next. But there's so many logical things that are just coming up. They're just so good. Gloria says, my son and I recently hung up a mirror in our dining area, and like 4 days later, he heard a crackling sound at night. The next day, we noticed a tiny round chip in the mirror that wasn't there before. Oh, wow. Heard a crack. I know, I see a lot of videos of like people's doors opening and stuff, and they'll be on these like ghost hunter videos. You know, it's like they do it. They'll just set up the door and a string will pull it or whatever. But sometimes there are like chairs flying around, and a lot of targets talked about that, how they can put a electromagnetic field around something and like tip it over or move a cabinet door or something like that. Like Brian too says, all the that you hear about, most of those are like directed energy weapons and stuff. Like, I've seen a video of this. Oh, I need to do that. I need to get videos of where they're saying it's a ghost moving somebody's hair, because there was one where there was this lady sitting in a chair in front of her, not a computer, and she was like sitting there, and there was no air conditioner on or anything, but like one piece of her hair like came up as if somebody was grabbing it, and the video was just a poltergeist or blah. I was thinking, as I was like, target it. And they do things where they'll do things with electromagnetic fields where it feels like they're touching you. Like it can feel like they're touching you, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced that. They haven't done that to me in a while, obviously, like pounding in my head. Remote neural manipulation is the one they're really working on. They're working on my brain so hard. They're just working on my brain, trying to get me to my memory going. Like, I can usually just talk about any subject, but like today with Jeff, I was like, we'd be talking about something and I'd forget what we were talking about. Like, so my cognitive issues are really bad. That's why we need more of you young guys. They haven't really, long. The remote neural manipulation isn't as bad. We need y'all, talking about this stuff. Finding some way that's comfortable for you, that empowers you, and then helping people and doing acts, it will empower you in this. You'll be like, I did something with this. Because if you're just getting targeted and you can't do anything, but you need defenses for that, right? You need defenses, you need God. You need God first, then defenses. Because if you get God on your side first in the name of Jesus Christ, then everything else will just come. True Kism says, Niels Melzer is already investigating and acknowledges the stalking and technology. They will need to explain that as well. That's why they did this Cuba thing, to change the narrative. Yeah. I bet you so. I bet you it happened in a geopolitical way where they saw that this was going to come out, and then they made an incident like that where they could relegate it to Havana syndrome, right? And they're probably when the Cuban embassy attack started, that was like one of the beginnings of bringing it out, right? Of making the public aware, because they do this trickle out stuff, right? It's just so horrible because, like, we're dying. We're getting tortured. We need this to stop now. And it's like this process, right? It's always this long process. Oh, well, maybe somebody can fix the torture someday. No, people are being tortured. You stop that torture. It's insane. Like, the UN should be all over this. The UN, like the Special Rapporteur on Torture, should have the authority to go into any country he wants at any time. Like, the UN is they pick that. Everybody's going to cooperate with the UN. We're going to sign the Geneva Convention. The UN should be able to go anywhere they want. National security, you can't torture and kill innocent people because of national security. It doesn't make sense. It is because of national security we need to murder and experiment on innocent people. Then you get all the criminals doing it, right? So your national security is like promoting criminals, murdering citizens. Like, that's what the military does now. It kills its own people. Donna Jordan says, I'm here for all of you. Thank you, Donna. So much. We all need to be praying too, and just getting our intentions as positive as possible. I have a hard time sometimes, but Robert D. Hitchens says, Gloria, it sounds wild. Catherine Horton used to record the headshots pinging on her shielding. I think that was, I think she was really getting those sounds coming off. DePlume says, you would like to think they would know, but after the movie War Dogs, Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in our culture and movies and books and everything where it's like, run-ins is cool. The anti-hero, the movie does it. All the video games, the first-person shooters and everything. Those are for a reason. Those are for a reason. Yeah, Roy, you've been like screaming the whole time with all caps. So I'd ask you maybe just next time don't spam the chat. I will have to ban you if it's just like spamming it and just like it's yelling. Artist was saying is that it's like it triggers because you're just yelling all this stuff in caps. We just want to talk about this stuff calmly. We want to talk about it as calmly as possible. We want to bring down the anxiety, the anger, we're going to have disagreements on this stuff. We want to control, like, as much as we can control, right? To calm down the situation. You know what I'm saying? I know it's very hard when you're just getting microwaved and you can't, like, sometimes I can't even stop moving because the guy will be like, the woman will be like, no. He'll go, no, I got to turn it up. He'll turn up the remote neural manipulation, and I feel like this pressure around here, and then I start, like, not being able to stand. Like, just from them, like, turning up the remote neural manipulation. Really, Toxic Avenger. I'd like to see those. I don't know about that too much, though. Like, I don't want to go into that. Because some things it's like you can, but it may not be directed energy. I don't know. I'd like to see it, though. Yeah, Dark Winter. True Kism says all psychological warfare and gaslighting, forcing people on drugs and locking them down when they are innocent and truthful, is even worse. Yeah. As people just have nothing, the lockdown. If we're targeted, it's like with the V2K, it's like my day. I can go to my aunt's and hang out with my grandma. I mean, I have to do that, right? But it's like my day is not like, oh, well, let me go look for a job and stuff like that. Let me go look for some new people to talk to, wearing my less EMF headgear in my grounding, because I have to have those things on like all the time. If I don't do it consistently, like if I don't do the grounding consistently or the headgear consistently or the noise canceling hearing aid consistently, I can't function. Like I literally can't. I'm like holding this back to where it's bad, but I can function, right? After so long, it's insane. Like I can't, like to survive this and to do what we do, this horrifying thing. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to think about. Like I do get kind of like push everything aside, get the information out. Like it's made me have to adapt in ways that I'm not sure if I want it to adapt that way. Not saying I'm like a mean person or anything. Now it's just made me adapt in ways where it's like I see the danger in people doing such evil, violent things. If it's done every day, the population will just get so used to it. Like it'll be like, oh, that grandma at the end of the street. Let's, like this would be what they would say. The groups of people in a little while in the future. Let's go murder that grandma, right? And that's it. That's not. I'm not doing violence. I'm just saying it can get that bad because people can get so used to it, and it really can get like the purge. That's why they do this stuff 24 hours a day underneath. Sleeping Beauty says, God's encourager. Yeah, it's obvious the FBI knows about these crimes, but their ignorance to them makes me believe they are playing their role in the crimes. Yeah. It's compartmentalized. There is massive desiloing. We don't see it because it's these people and all these organizations and agencies and stuff. Cuban embassy stuff is coming out. Agents are being hit by microwaves. People are starting to ask questions, right? Because they've been involved in something where they've been siloed and compartmentalized. Now they're seeing some people getting hit with microwaves all the time, right? And our voices are going to get louder because of this. Human beings. They were hit with remote microwaves. We were hit with remote microwaves. No difference. Never think of yourself as different. We got hit with, they got hit with microwaves. End of story. They're getting medical help. We get medical help. They're getting a Senate investigation. We need a Senate investigation. We're human beings too. This classist thing, like people think that racism is the problem. It is not. Classism is the problem. If you work for the government or you have this much money, you treat it way better. And if you're just a normal Joe or Jonette or Joanne, Joanne's my mom's name, then you're just screwed. Yeah. True Kism says, with them knowing the gaslighting and psychological warfare is happening is the worst crimes I've ever heard of. So just like Jeff C. would always say. Jeff C. would say, this is the worst crime in history, in the history of the world. He's right. He's right. Donna says, V2K all over podcast, no yelling. Okay. I don't know. Really? Jennifer Burns says Trump has a microwave fence around his place. He cannot be hit. Are you kidding me? What? Where do you have an article or something? Like, so he put up a microwave fence. But how would that stop the because they hit me like vertically. Not really vertically, but it's like coming down. Like it's vertically. Vertically parallel vertically. Are you sure? Is that a joke? Were you joking? Were you joking? True Kism says, everyone knows about this, just not the full picture of the compartmentalized warfare. They know bits and pieces, but once you see the full puzzle together, it's quite clear that it is inhuman. And that's what I'm saying. All these people, all these different organizations are learning about all this stuff that's in the mainstream media about the remote microwave attacks, and then they're like, people are being hit with this stuff? I didn't know that. I didn't know just regular citizens or embassy workers. I thought this was like used in war against troops, right? Or something like that, or just for drones and stuff, but they're all learning. Really? Okay, Jennifer says Ella was talking about it on her. Really? I just don't see how that would work. Artist of Alien says Trump's hair blocks the microwaves too. I don't see how that, because they do it, they can do it where it comes over the top. So if he had it, he'd have to do it on the top. Maybe he just has a microwave fence for people coming up with ground weapons and stuff like that. I wonder. I bet you he had to protect himself when he was president from like mind control and stuff like that, and they gave him something. And I wonder if they took that away from him when he. I guess Donald Trump's life is never regular. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna shut it down. I love y'all. Yeah, Jennifer says, who knows? Maybe it's true. I love you guys. Y'all take care. More to email me information. I'll try and get to it. And the information you guys put in the chat, I'll try and make some videos about that. But I'm just going to be trying out. That was really good today. Like that interview. I love talking to Jeff. Feeling like we could do some casual interviews if y'all want. Just email, let me know. We'll just try and do as much as we can. But really, some of you guys that really have the urge, hey, thank you, True, you too, brother. Y'all think about something, like think about Odyssey. Odyssey is the new most conservative people are going. And think about Odyssey maybe, starting something up there, or BitChute, Dark Winter says, money, Kyle. He has money, Kyle. What's that? What do you mean? I don't have any money. I have Social Security. Yeah, oh, if y'all do want to donate to the channel, paypal.me paypal.me/Vulcan Wolverine. If you guys want to donate to the channel, that's to keep me going. And I promise I still have some donation money left, most of it left. But I'm gonna get the camera and microphone so we can look a lot better, right? And then I've got an editing program, but I don't know. I'm so sick. It's hard to sit down and like focus on something. If I'm just sitting here talking with you guys, it's cool. But like sitting in a large project, maybe later, maybe someday. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Toxic Avenger. You had a lot of really productive, comments. So I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that when you guys are like involved in the topic, and I know that some of us have disagreements on what's happening, but just talk about it in the chat. Just stay calm, because we want good optics, and if we're all just talking about the subject calmly, it's good. If we have a bunch of people like screaming in chat and like stuff like that, but I guess we really shouldn't worry about that stuff. Oh, they will. Erica says you can pray perps be convicted and God weighs on their conscience in their hardened evil hearts till they stop. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. God will give us justice. God will justice, and God will get vengeance on these people. With my attackers, they've already got vengeance on them just because of who they are. It says I like to be missed. I've missed you, Laura. I've missed you. I haven't seen you. I guess I have. Maybe it was a couple of live streams ago. Artist Filling says 10,000 coming soon. 10,000 what? 10,000 subs? 10,000 subs. 3,500. We'll do a party. We'll do something. We'll do something at 3,500. I do want to watch Willow soon. Like if I'm just in the mood to like go over to D Live and watch. Guys, please subscribe to me on D Live. Vulcan Wolverine, no space. I'm gonna be doing movies over there for now, and maybe some like stuff like that. I think that they did the 3-day thing. They take my videos off after 3 days, specifically because I use stuff. So we may be going to Twitch. Thank you, Samia, and I'm praying for you too. I'm praying for all you guys. Let's do that every night. Every night, really try and meditate. I know the V2K and just the pain makes it so hard, but just meditate and like get some positive feelings and be like, this is gonna happen. My life's gonna get better. Targeted individuals' lives are gonna get better. God's gonna bring us peace. God's gonna bring us healing. Just every night. Condition yourself. You gotta condition. You can get conditioned negative, you can get conditioned positive, right? And we're all kind of in a war with that, right? Our attackers are treating us very negatively, but we can condition ourselves. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty said, I heard Trump's uncle was MIT and worked with Tesla. I did too. I heard his uncle actually had some of the documents that Tesla had. And Trump said it before. He's like, we've got weapons nobody can even. We've got weapons that nobody can imagine putting them out. They're fabulous. They're great. And he was talking about directed energy weapons. I'm just like, oh my God. Does he know that people are being experimented on? Because his administration gave so much trouble. Whoever wanted to start the investigation. I don't know if I believe that. I think that's a lie. I think he would have done the investigation. They didn't want him involved in it because I got to turn off. We're almost at 4 hours, but I love talking to you guys. It's like it's really a cool interaction. I need to get more people on here. It's just I get so sick sometimes, and I'm good buddies with Jeff, so it's really easy. But like on the panels, it's like when I'm really sick, I feel like I'm not. And sometimes it's just, but I want to be on the ball and listening to people, right? And when I'm really sick, it's like I can present information, I can talk to you guys, I can control that, But then it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like I feel rude. I feel rude when I'm really sick and doing a panel and I'm not paying attention to what people are saying and stuff. And it's not even because I don't like them. It's just because my brain is so fried, right? But I'm feeling better now, so maybe we'll do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. There's some stuff that it's like I want to. Like I'll do one-on-one interviews and stuff like that, and maybe we'll do panels from time to time on special occasions. Maybe we'll do a panel on the 3,500. 3,500. You guys get me to 3,500. We'll do a panel. We'll do at least a 3-hour panel. Okay, y'all get me to 3,500. Y'all get me to 4,000 subscribers. I don't know how you guys who already subscribed are going to do this, but this is just what YouTubers say. You guys get me to 4,000. All of us get to. If we all get to 1 million subscribers, I'll peel my head off with a cheese grater. No, but seriously, y'all get. If we get to 3,500, we'll do a panel. We'll do like a 3-hour panel. We'll party it up. We'll make our panel, and then we'll go watch Willow. And then we can have people on the panel while we watch Willow. How would that work? How do y'all think that? Kind of like Mystery Science Theater 2000. Tanya says my brain is so bad. Mine too, Tanya. Mine too. A lot of stuff that the probiotics have helped. What else really helps me? I'm taking less Neurontin. I'm taking 1 Neurontin a day. Kind of hard. I'm like a little bit more shaky. You got to get. I get some probiotics for your brain. Get some they have neurobiotics, so they're like probiotics specifically for the brain. I got the one with variety, but like I was thinking about getting a probiotic. And then you got it, Tanya. You got to listen to Dave Case's CD. You got to get those noise canceling hearing aids. You and your mom got to get them. Go target it. Y'all got the ringing in your ears and the remote neural manipulation. You gotta get it. Toxic event. Gotta get it. Me too. I gotta get. Peace, mother or sister. Deplume says dark chocolate. Dark chocolate can lift your mood so well. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I love y'all. Just stay strong, and I will see y'all soon.